Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
It's that time again. What a joyous time.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom, everyone.
So this is our second half, our 4 o'clock class. May the Most High be praised. Now, we had a class scheduled for today, but the speakers that were supposed to come in has not come in yet. I don't know how we can continue on with the class as to why you chose him if the people who are supposed to speak hasn't shown up. So we might have to switch this up, but that's all right because this is what we do. That's what we do. So let's get everything in order. Let's get everything right. And let's get it started. Y'all ready? So this is the second half of our class. And what we do on our class in the second half is we like to give commandments. Everybody give a commandment. And then after you give your commandment, you give the understanding, your understanding of what that commandment means. And we'll have a brief conversation or we'll move forward, all based on what your understanding is. All right? And if the people don't show up today who we had scheduled to do this portion, what we'll do is we'll go into a lesson because we have lessons prepared. All right. Any questions or comments? If not, let's go. So, Ima, you will be the only one that's present here. Give a commandment, please, if you're ready. Oh, you know what? Okay. I got it. Go ahead. I'm ready. Are you speaking? Ima.
No, I wasn't speaking yet.
Okay, I didn't know that. Please forgive me. I didn't know. All right, go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay. Well, my law can be found in the book of Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter 15, verse 37. And the Most High spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them throughout their generations fringes in the corners of their garments, and that they put with the fringe of each corner a thread of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Most High and do them, and that go not about after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go astray. 40, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your Creator. I am the Most High, your power, who brought you out from the land of Mitzrayim to be your power. I am the Most High, your power. So, that law that I just read was actually the law about fringes of CPO. And basically the Most High said, the first part of it was saying that you wear it on the four corners of your garments. And the four corners, if you notice, a lot of cultural garments usually have splits in them so that those can be considered your four corners. And some people put it in between those splits because that's part of their corner. So they'll either have 2 fringes or 4 fringes, because it doesn't say to wear 4 fringes. It just says wear them on the 4 corners of your garment. So I know that's a big discussion sometimes in Israel at times. And it also said, stop it. It also says when you make your fringe to bind it or make it with a blue cord. I know different people have debates about which blue, but I know that the blue that most people use, which in Hebrew is tekelet, it's like a royal blue, kind of like the blue that's in a flag behind Maisha's head. And then He also says, let them, the fringes are actually, a lot of people say they're a curse, or a punishment rather, because they're supposed to be reminders of his laws, statutes, and commandments, and to remind us what to do when we're going out and about. It also, if you notice, when people may stop you and ask you, hey, what are those things? It's also a teaching moment as well, where you can teach people about why you wear your fringes and what the fringes are to be worn for. So the fringes aren't necessarily, they are a commandment, but I hear some people say, oh, the fringes are the laws, but the fringes is a commandment, which is a law, but it's not the laws. So, but it is a reminder to remind you about the laws. So that's my explanation.
All right. May the Most High be praised. May the Most High be praised. Family, the lesson for today is supposed to be about why did you choose him? That's supposed to be the lesson for today. And we had several people that we wanted to bring up into the platform. Lyrical Dreams, you might be a good candidate to come up and talk about something like that. Why did you choose him? All right. Elder Sarai, you might be a good candidate to come up and talk about why you chose her. That might be a good conversation for y'all. If y'all like to come in, let us know, and we'll send you the link. But the sister who's supposed to come in today, two of them, one just popped in and popped back out, so we're waiting for her to show back up. And the other one had a prior engagement, I believe. Maybe she forgot about it, but she wasn't able to show up. But if we don't go with that lesson, we got a whole nother lesson prepared for the class today. But Creator willing, that's the lesson, because that's the lesson we advertise for. And Creator willing, that's the lesson we're going to proceed with. So we're going to move forward. That was a very good commandment. Very good commandment. Fringes, the whole fringe issue has been a discussion for a long time in Israel, at least as long as I've been in Israel. And we're looking at 30-something years, maybe something close to 30, somewhere in that area. So it's been an issue that's been in Israel for a long time. But there's a lot of Israel who interpret it a different way as well. Like there are some Israelites wear fringes around the borders of the ends, the garments, around the neck, around the borders, around the bottom, all around the outskirts of the garments. They do it in different ways. I don't have any problem with either way you choose to wear them. Either way is fine with me. There's no big issue as long as you wear them. Fringes are supposed to be an identification piece. It lets other Israelites know that you're Israelite. But what it was meant to be was to remind you of the law so that you would be on point with the laws of the Almighty. But some people will wear fringes and the rest of their attire don't look like Hebrew style. Don't look like somebody that should be reminded, or that's supposed to be reminding somebody of the law. Don't look like Hebrew style. Chase C, Shabbat Shalom. How you doing, sis? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
You
How are
feeling
you?
good? What you say? You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
All right. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. You ready to rock and roll today?
I am.
All right. You got this topic you want to talk about? Some of the questions you want to bring up when that time comes?
I'm gonna just let you host this one, and I'll chime in if I feel like
No, sis, that ain't the
something
way
to
it's supposed to
say.
go. It ain't supposed to go like that. What's supposed to happen is you're supposed to start the conversation telling us about the past, the history of the problems you had with men, and how you think it can be fixed.
Ah,
Your experiences, the things you like, things you didn't like, things you approved of, what you didn't approve of, so that others who are listening and might have a similar situation can be helped through your experiences. That's what it's supposed to be. So if it ain't that, it's cool. We'll make the adjustments. This is what we do. We just
yeah,
don't hit the people. All
I
right.
didn't come prepared this week.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I thought you were
Oh,
going.
I have a lot to talk about,
Then there we
but
go. Then that's
I
all we
just
need.
haven't, you know.
Then once you start the conversation, I can keep the flow and ask you where you've been and how you feeling and what you thought. I can take care of all that. But while we talking and other things are going on, you might want to write down some of the conversation topics that you want to bring up. So that way you won't be shooting from the hip. You already know because you got it written down. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
All right. So we're going to get back with the commandments. I don't think you have a commandment you wanted to say, sis. Okay. Yes. Is that a yes or a no?
Not right now.
All right. Very well. You can go back on mute. And then when we start the class for that portion, we'll bring you in and you can let it all rip. Just let it go.
All right.
All right. We'll do that. Toda Rabbah. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Now is the time for our commandments. Is there anyone else who would like to give a commandment? For those of you who are in the listening audience, you can type your commandment on the sideline. We'll bring it up. And also type your explanation of that commandment on the sideline, and we'll bring that up as well. All right. Let's rock and roll. So that was a very good one with the fringes, Ema. We appreciate that.
Toda Rabah.
Did you have a little one sitting next to you? Where they at? They gone?
She's just crawling on the floor.
All right. No problem. Ishi, did you have a commandment?
Okay, and mine is coming from Shemot or Exodus 23, verses 4 and 5. If you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall surely bring it back to him again. If you see the donkey of one who hates you lying under its burden, and you would refrain from helping it, you shall surely help him with it. I wanted a commandment that reminded me of being there for your people, being there for your loved ones. Out of the thought process of thinking of my closest friend that I talked about earlier today, one of my closest friends, and being there for her in her time of need. She isn't my enemy by any means, but she is someone that I deeply care about. And it just made me think, if we're there, if we are supposed to be there for our enemies or our brothers that you don't get along with, or your sister that you don't get along with, if you are still commanded to be there for them in their time of distress, such as the whole donkey thing, and how much more are you supposed to be there for your family members, your loved ones, when you aren't in disagreement, right? And really, it shouldn't matter whether you're in disagreement or not. You should still be a consistent source for your loved ones and family. But just to kind of compare the two, since the law is talking about enemies and things like that, if you were supposed to help your enemy even in their time of need, then how much more are you supposed to help your brother, your sister, your family, your loved ones when they're not in need, you know? So that's what made me think of this. I wanted something that reminded me about being there, for showing up and being there for your family and for your loved ones, your brothers and sisters. So that's my commandment.
That's an important one. It makes sense. If the Creator commands for you to be there for someone you don't know, or even someone that you despise, how much more is important for you to be there for someone that you supposedly care about, someone that you do know, someone that is on the good side of things for you? That's a good way of looking at it. I like that commandment. May the Most High be praised. All right. Anyone else in the listening audience? There's no commandments typed in the room. Anyone else in the listening audience have any commandments they'd like to present today? Oh, man. We're going to do this from the rip today. This is going to be done from the rip today. All right. Let's rock. Let's move forward. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So if you can't bear false witness against your neighbor, then you can't bear false witness against anybody that's walking in this truth, anybody that serves the Creator. Would y'all agree? That sounds good? All right. Yep.
Okay.
Second half. If two men are fighting and one man is getting beat up, I had to paraphrase that part about getting beat up, and then his wife reaches forth her hand and takes the other man by his testicles, you ought to cut her hand off. She will be known as the handless woman because she grabbed the testicles of another man to try to cause him to lose a fight against her man. Why did the Creator have this situation and this law in place? What is the reason why you would what is the reason why you think the Most High might have a law in place that says that woman is to lose her hand? What did she do that was so grossly an abomination that the Creator said to cut her hand off?
I mean, two things. One, she got involved in a situation that was dealing with two men.
There you go.
And then the second was she put her hands on a man's private area. And by doing so, she could have damaged his future ability to have babies. So it's kind of like three things she did, because touching his private area, one, that's like low toe, especially if she's married. So that could be even considered in so many ways adulterous or whorish. And then the third, she, could have cut off his source of producing life.
Very good. Very good examples. Sister Aisha coming on today? So, Sister Aisha, you coming on today? That's a very good example, Ema. Very good examples. And what another thing is, she tried to make that man bow down. You know, when a woman takes a man by his testicles and she squeezes him, he ain't gonna do nothing but what she wants him to do. But in this particular situation, it was because she was adversely going against this man, and she had included people or individuals who could possibly come into existence to maybe not be able to come into existence, thereby committing murder by her grabbing that man by his testicles, his private parts, his jewels. So yes, by every right, the Creator says, cut her hands off. Remove her hands from her. Yes, this is it. All right. Any other questions or comments, family, before we move on? Anybody on the side, do any of you have any commandments that you want to say? Because no one's posted anything as of yet. All right, we're going to move forward. And if you have any commandments, just type them in the room and we'll address those shortly. May the Most High be praised. All right. All right. Sister Chea, Chasey. Are you ready, Sister Chasey? Did you get to write down some of those things you wanted to discuss with us today? Do you want to enlighten the family on that took place in your life that you would like to address and see different methods and ways in which we could have approached it and brought it out? We had some other sisters that's supposed to be coming on with you today, but neither of those two sisters are present, and neither have they responded back. We had a whole lesson prepared if none of you all showed up. So we're going to see what we can do with you and see how that works out. Not to put you on any pressure or anything, but just that you are free with your words and comfortable with your words, that you can come in and share what it is that you can share. The topic on the floor is, why did you choose him? And this will be part 2. Why did you choose him? And this would be part 2. All righty. Total Rabbah. Gotcha, Ema. Shabbat shalom, sis. I think you meant to take that mute button off, right? Sister Chasey? Yeah. Oh, you in your car? Okay. You ready to get started? Sis, are you ready? So, sis, part of the thing is this. So many of us in this present day and time, we find ourselves in relationships with individuals. And sometimes these relationships starts in the dullest of ways. Most of the time, the energy that's behind you and her or you and him getting together is usually a lustful situation. It's usually something that causes us to lust after someone else that we see with our eyes. And it's not usually like we're lusting after their mind or their intelligence or their loyalty or their commitment to the creator. It's usually a lustful thing like their physical body, the beauty of their eyes, their hair, their physique, the way they stand, the way they move. All of these things have a way of getting us to be attracted to individuals in a lustful way. And when that happens, usually as a woman or as a man, you find a way to get that person's attention. You might stand in that person's view. You might walk past that person and drop something. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, you did. There are different ways that we go about getting the attention of people that we like. For some of us, we inside somebody's inbox every day, liking everything that they put up, all their comments and everything that they do. We're liking those things. When in reality, had it been anybody else, we wouldn't be liking it. It wouldn't be putting out. Wouldn't have paid them no special attention. We would have just ignored them. So the question on the floor is, why did you choose him, or why did you choose her? For the men, it will be her. For the men, for the women, it will be him. So we're asking a question to get this thing moving. And what we would like to know now, if Sister Chasey, if you have some of your things together, you can take yourself off mute and let's talk. Let's talk about some of the conversations, relationships that you had in the past, and fill us in and why you chose to be involved with, to go after, to seek the individuals that you did. Sis?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay, we got you. It's a little static in the background, but we'll deal with it. We'll do our
Can
best
you
to.
hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us? Can you hear me, sis?
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I say it's a little staticky in your background, but we'll do the best we can to listen in. There's nothing you can do with that background noise, correct?
Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Okay, it's raining outside, so I guess.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
It's raining a lot.
All right. Let's deal with that. We cool. Let's move forward. So talk to us, sis. And in response to some of your questions, some of the questions that's been posed, in the relationship that you've had in your past, what was it that provoked you to get involved in that relationship? You know, sometimes it's just a cycle of life that we're in. You know, it's something that we're needing in life. Sometimes we're missing something out of life. And the attention, this person met us at that proper time and supplied that specific need. It could be a lot of those things. We don't know the answers to that. But we leave the platform open for you at this time, sis. Tell us, in your unique situation, in one of the situations that you can think of, what was it that caused you to choose the individual that you would like to share with us about today?
Well, the first thing is the obvious is they were attractive.
Attractive?
They were attractive.
In what way?
physically attractive, tall, handsome.
So we would agree
Those
that
type of things.
that lust hormone was the first
Yeah,
one that kicked in, huh?
that's the first thing that usually kicks in, especially if you're not really, you know, walking in the spiritual light at the time, or you're not thinking with a spiritual head. The first thing is going to be the way they look. I think even with the spiritual light, we're not blind, so we're going to see the way a person looks, but that probably won't be what that decision wouldn't be solely based on, okay, they look great.
Okay, so if that's not solely what it's based on, what was yours? What was your premise in this particular
Well,
situation?
it's, hmm, I'm trying to see which one.
Well, whichever one you want to tell us about first. You can talk about all of them if you want, but whichever one you want to tell us about first, tell us about that one. And they don't have to be in any special, specific order. Just be free with it.
Okay, so I chose this specific person because number one, they were attractive. Then they were saying all the right things. So basically, say that they take care of their family, take care of their woman, and all of that stuff. You know, they're saying all the things that women usually want to really hear. But then, you know, at the same time, I'm just listening. But I'm gonna eventually put you to that test later on.
So let
So
me
that's
ask
what makes me, yeah.
you, when he was saying all these things that women want to hear, was he directing it to you or was he just speaking it to someone in general?
Just in general, just to say the type of person he was, because this was on a getting to know someone basis.
So you was on the side just watching this guy run his mouth. You was minding your business on the side until you heard something you like and you turn around and look, and this guy was running his mouth, and the things that he said caught your attention.
Oh no, he was speaking directly to me,
That's what
as in
I
the
asked
stuff
you.
that he was doing. Oh, okay. I thought you meant that if he was speaking, that he was direct. You know, yeah, no, he was speaking directly to me about the type of person he was, because we were in the getting to know each other stage.
All right. So let me ask you this question. So when you and this brother were talking, and this brother started speaking of things directly to you that caught your attention, where was your life at that time? And I ask you this question because a lot of times people are emotionally distressed. They're going through a little bit of something. Sometimes they have mental crisis, financial crisis. Some people just lost a loved one. Some people just be down on their luck. And somebody come in at the right time and say a trinkling of words to you that touches your spirit based on where your life is at that time, they can never say anything wrong. And they hit that spot. They got what you needed. And you just gravitate toward that. Is that how it goes?
That's
So where was
exactly how it goes. Yeah.
tell me about it. Where was your life at that time?
I mean, this was actually recently, so I'm speaking of a recent situation. So I mean, my situation, my life is going to be my life, and it's something, you know, within dealing with my ex, you know, my ex-husband and my children. It's just a situation that's not going to disappear. So I would just say, you know, I'm I'm okay. I'm content. I'm accepting life the way it is. But to say that I am in a distraught situation right now, no.
What do you mean you're accepting life the way it is? Why does
Yeah.
women always say that? You know, we get a lot of women to say that they're accepting life as there is. I'm content. I'm happy. But in the inside, we're really not that way. Really, in the inside, we hurt and we in pain. And when we pray to the Creator for the things that we truly desire. Why do you feel women do that?
I feel because especially as black women, we were always taught we need to be strong. We need to be strong for everybody. We need to be this. We can't show weakness. You know, people play in our face if we do show that weakness. So it's just, I think it's just embedded in us, along with the fact that, you know, I would say that my personality, I have a strong personality. So, I mean, I do have time. One thing about it, I am definitely accountable, and I can really say, okay, I am not okay. But I tend to just go into my shell when I'm not okay. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to deal with people. So I'd rather just disappear off the map for a while before I even come and let anybody know that I'm going through a period of weakness. And that's just the way that I am. But no, I am not okay. I'm not happy about my situation. I can tell people that. But I just don't bring people into my business too much unless it's just really, unless we're having a discussion on
Like
what
we,
I'm going through.
like,
I will let people know, but I'm not just the type of person that's just going around and tell people that I'm doing okay, having people feel sorry for me. No, that's not who I am. No,
and how long have you been that way, sis?
I can't tell you. I've been like that my whole life.
And do you see the benefits or the negative of it?
I see a benefit, and I see I see benefit and I see negativity. I mean, to me, it's
Well,
a balance because it's like, okay, it's a way that I won't let people get to me, but yet at the same time, it's weighing me down at the same time. But unless it is people that can directly help me in my situation and just make the situation disappear, I see no benefit in letting people know what I'm going through unless it's people that can help my situation. So that's who I will let people know what's going on. Can you help me or not? If you can't, just not gonna really know.
all right. So this whole projection that they put on about women, a lot of women put on, and I'm a strong, independent woman, and I don't need nobody for nothing. I don't need no man. I can do all this on my own. How does that work for a woman as a sister? How does that really apply to life today? And I say this because I know so many single women. I know more single women than I know single men. There's a whole lot of single women that I know, and they all seem to have that same attitude, that same motto that I don't need no man. I can do it myself. I even had one sister came on here on the show, on the class one day, and she says, I'm married to the creator. The creator is my husband. I even had somebody that took it to that level. But the creator ain't going to lay down and be intimate with you. The creator's not going to hold your hand and take a walk with you in the park. You know, the creator's not going to curl up in the bed with you at night and play with toes and footsies. And the human nature of people, we need that just to be healthy, just to have a longevity of life. And women, I've learned that women need it more so than men. But a lot of women, they push that away. They push that opportunity away by saying, I'm cool. I'm strong. I can do this. And they remove the opportunity for any man to come into their lives because of what somebody else did a long time ago, how he destroyed it. But I understand that you, in your situation, it's because you're looking for a different type of character in a man. Am I right?
I'm honestly, I'm looking for somebody who is just stronger than me. I know that I can be pretty. I'm always been a straightforward person. I don't have time for the shenanigans. But at the same time, it does have people. It have those type of men that will definitely. I know when I'm in that presence that I know I can't play with this guy. You know. So I want that guy. A certain energy, a specific energy that I know when I meet it.
Well,
That will make me sit down somewhere.
Yeah,
say
see,
so.
here's the thing.
It's not very often that I come across that though.
Here's the thing, sis. A lot of women know exactly what they desire, but can they handle what they desire? What I mean is this: a certain man with that type of energy is going to tell you, "Shut up, sit down, and be quiet. Go over there in the corner." You might feel intimidated and disrespected because you've been taking care of yourself for so long. Like, I'm a grown woman. Don't talk to me that way. You know, with certain type of requirements comes certain type of actions or treatment. How do you feel about that?
I feel like a real man don't really have to be disrespectful to get his point across.
And
Because
you think that's
no,
disrespectful?
because the
Well,
thing is, okay, go ahead.
you think that's disrespectful for him to tell you to be quiet and go sit over there?
No, and it depends on what. Definitely not, especially if you're being out of your if you're a woman being out of line. So it just all depends on the situation. Because now, if he's just trying to just block you out, and you're really trying to, you're reasoning with him and different things, and he just doesn't want to hear you, and he's just totally just like, okay, just want to be disrespectful. I think there, I think we should be able to kind of determine whether that person is just trying to block you out, or that person is really or just putting you in your place. You know, and I think I can be able to distinguish between the two.
Okay. Iman, you have a response for that?
Well, yeah, first you said something about.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. First, you said something about the mentality of a woman being strong, or not being truly happy when they say they are, or they're at peace or whatever. And I do have to disagree with you saying that we're not. I won't say everybody is like that, um, but I know, and I can concur with Sister Chasey here, because I'm a very strong woman. So I know for me, in my past relationships, when I was done, I was done. The moment of sadness was there briefly, but once I accepted it was done, that was it. I knew what I had to do at that point, and because I had children. So wait a minute. And because I had children, I knew that I had a responsibility. So that sadness and self-pity, all that type of stuff that some people, and I won't even just say women, because men do it too, I just didn't carry that because there was no need for it. Like, I think we as women, and part of what she was saying, we've been held to a certain stature, especially Black women, let me put it like that, for so long, to carry so much, that the misconception that we are hurting when we say we're strong is there because of that that idea of who we are. Um, but a lot of times we're strong because we are strong. It doesn't have to do anything with the hurt that we may have dealt with, whatever problems we're going through. We're strong because society, everything that our ancestors gone through has made us that way. Then some of us are stronger in that because once we're in that space, we zone and we stay focused on what we have to do and we get it accomplished. Um, I've been told plenty of times, "Oh, you're so strong. You're one of those type of women that don't need a man." And I tell people all the time, that's not the type of woman I am. I do need a man. What I think people lack to understand, and I think men generally with women, with strong women, it's not about that we feel like we don't need a man. It's what's the man's purpose at this point? If he's coming in and he's not being a provider, a protector, a friend, a lover, any of these things, if he's not lining up with those things, most strong women don't want a man to be in their presence, especially on a day-to-day basis, because then at that point you're taking up space. They're having to take care of you along with their children and other responsibilities. So and what she was saying, to that point of I need a stronger man than herself, I completely understand it, because you do, in certain instances, there's certain women who need that, because at some point it's like, if you're going to be here, like we always talk about it, what's the purpose of you being here? I mean, if it's just to lay down with a woman, a lot of times there are strong women who will go without that, because at that point, in, in order for me to have sex with you or to be in that presence with you, it's like I have to bend over and do things that I don't want to do, which is take care of you, which is watch you be lazy, watch you not do the things, and then I still have to be strong for you, for everything else that I was doing prior to you coming in there. So a lot of times it's women will say, look, I would rather go without any of that, because I'd rather not have the headache or the heartache that comes from it. Because when you're dealing with a man who isn't strong enough for you, who isn't capable of doing those things on the side of things while you're at work, or even when you're not at work, he's out going and sleeping with some other woman that he could actually get by with that stuff with, but he's staying with you because he feels like you're more stable than the other chick or whatever. So it's like, I think it's just a misunderstanding or a misconception that people have about strong women. We're strong because in so many ways we had to be. But now in this society, I think because of what people say and what has been deemed, people automatically look at a woman and label her. And it doesn't mean all that. I think it's just I have to have, like she's saying, have these conversations. And then when you go meet a man and you tell him, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for, automatically that man knows 1, 2, or 3, he's not going to fit into that category. He knows automatically. Now he can decide to either play the game to try to fit in those categories because he likes you, because most men do like strong women, who they do like women who are innovative, who are go-getters, who will have their back, who will make sure help them. Yeah, I do believe men like women who will help them build their business, help them in their households, help hold it down for them, hold it down.
Understanding of a strong woman.
That's part of being a strong woman. Yes,
Okay.
to me, yes.
All right.
I can't speak for other women. I'm a strong woman. I can't speak for no other woman besides me and strong women. But what I'm saying is that
For you to be a strong woman is not for you to determine. It's for all the onlookers to determine whether you're a strong woman. That's for everybody. Like, I can't say I'm a strong man. My strength would be in the others testifying of that strength. But for me to say I'm a strong man, that's like a cockiness. Because a real man who really has it ain't going to be out there fronting it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to be flaunting it.
I get what you're saying. It's not about flaunting it. One thing is you have to know what your characteristics are. I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying I'm a strong woman, because if a man says to me, so what are your attributes? That's going to be one of my attributes.
So I'm sorry. How about we do this?
Mm-hmm.
How about y'all explain to us what a strong woman is? And then maybe that'll help clear it up, because us men, we got a different understanding of what a strong woman is. And that's why you're getting what you're getting today. So how about you and Sister Chasey and Isha? How about y'all tell us, and the sisters in the audience, give us examples of what you think a strong woman is.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help clear up a lot of the confusion. What is a strong woman? What's some of the examples of a strong woman? Sister Chasey, you can tune in.
Mm-hmm.
What's a strong woman?
Okay. Well, society's image or description of a strong woman is a woman that can do it all by herself, don't need anybody. A woman who is basically, has a great job, doing things on her own, supporting her own family, don't need anybody for anything, one who can stand her own ground, stuff like that. There's more to it. Someone who's been through a lot of experiences, but then, they have overcome those harsh experiences in the end and they're able to talk about it things of that sort. I would say that's what, society's kind of show that a strong woman is. And unfortunately, it is, but still not. Because strong women, we break too.
Okay.
We just don't show anybody that we break. So it's kind of like an image to uphold and kind of just show someone that you're unbreakable, but on the inside, you're really dying. So I would say it's just kind of a front.
All right. Let me speak for a moment, please. Sister Chasey, put your phone on mute, please. Let me explain this to y'all. See, that's not what a man don't see a strong woman in those lights like y'all just described. Ima, I heard you give your example, and I heard Sister Chasey give her example. I didn't see anybody in the audience giving their example what a strong woman do or how she is. But we do have different understandings. Now, I think, Ima, you started to allude to it when you started saying the things that a man would favor with a woman, like being by his side, being supportive, helping in the business, all those things. A strong woman to a man like me, maybe not all men, a strong woman is a woman who can face the adversary of those she call her friends for the scrutiny of her family, her household, and her husband. What I mean by that is, if this woman, I'll give you a better example. This one woman, and I gave this example a while ago, she sung on a church choir. And she sung on a church choir. And every Sunday, every Tuesday, after the choir would go from 3 to 6, she would leave at 4 o'clock every Tuesday. So she only had an hour worth of practice on Tuesdays. They asked her, the sisters pull over to the side and say, hey, why do you leave every Tuesday at 4 o'clock and practice is not over for 2 more hours? She says, because my husband likes me to have dinner ready for him when he gets home, and he comes home on Tuesdays. So I have to leave and go get dinner ready for my husband. I would almost guarantee you that every one of those women who had a problem with that wasn't married. I see the strength in a woman when those people who are supposed to be her friends and her associates say to her and question her about her movements toward her man, but she stands up and say, hey, no, that's my husband. I got to do this because my husband requires this of me. I see a strong woman who takes care of 1, 2, 3, or 4 children while her husband is out working, young children, you know what I mean? Whether they're in school or not, she handles and she manages her home. She directs where payments are supposed to go, how the money flow is supposed to come through the house. She handles the responsibilities of the home, of the family, and it runs in sequence and in order smoothly without all the pressures of the outside world getting her ear, taking her off her path. That's what I see as a strong woman. The woman that I heard y'all described, in my opinion, is a broken woman. In my opinion, it's a battered woman. It's an abused woman. Anytime a woman, I'm talking about a woman, not a girl. I'm talking about a woman. But anytime a woman has to be strong in the manner that I heard y'all speak on, it's because she's had a bad, screwed up relationship and she was toe up. Her upkeepings didn't teach her how to be a strong woman, because if she was a strong woman, she would have resisted the temptation of lust and all those things that make people desire things that's not right for them. And she would have said, no, that one got to go. I can't get involved with that one. Oh, no, I can't. Mr. Curly Top, can't get involved with Mr. Curly Top. He got too many flaws. This one's selling, drinking, smoking drugs. This one is a womanizer. This one is that. A strong woman is a woman to me who sees opportunity, but yet don't take advantage of that opportunity because it won't work best for her in her life. And I'm talking about somebody, not a gold digger, but somebody who knows what she wants in her mind and willing to sacrifice her time, her energy, and her troubles to get what it is that she desires. To me, that's a strong woman. one who runs her home and manages her home without a flaw, without a hiccup, without a heartbeat. There will be hard times when you're trying to manage a home. Things will come at you when you have to make decisions. And if your husband has given you instructions and you can stick to the tune that your husband delayed to relay to you, that also is a strong woman. A strong woman is going to be, in my opinion, somebody who goes against what her own desires are to seek and do the desires of her husband. To me, that's a strong woman. What I heard from y'all, to me, is an abused woman. It's a battered woman. A woman who has been through the ringer, used up, washed up, beat up, trottled underneath her foot, talked about, spit on. That's what I see. A woman that got to swallow her pride and say, you know what? I'm just going to go about it without this nigga or without a nigga. That's not a strong woman to me. That's not my impression of a strong woman. Because a strong woman to me, again, on the end, is one who can endure the opposition of peer pressure, girlfriends, boyfriends, people that she know that comes up against the structure of her home, and she says, no, we don't do that here. And we're not going to do it here. Why? Because my husband said that's not the way he likes it. That's a strong woman to me. And that's just my opinion coming from the man's view.
So I have some questions because you described a strong woman that's married. Basically, you said because you described a woman that she does for her husband, right?
I'm married. I mentioned one that wasn't married. Remember the one who chose before she got into that relationship. She chose carefully. He got the qualifications. He don't. This one ain't that. So she resisted that individual for what she knew was best for her. That's a strong woman. Okay. Most females don't do that. They see something hot, look good, and they ain't had nothing in a minute. That's the first thing they run into.
Okay. So I understood what you said. Yes, there are strong women. I can agree to some of the things you said because you're a man, so you're going to see things differently. And yes, most women who can say, you know what, you can have all that craziness as a man that you want to live with, I will go do it by myself, are women who have been through the ringer of dealing with those type of males in her choices of men, because nobody's not being unaccountable here, in their choices of men, because I've done it. And I'm one of those strong, battered women who were abused in the past in my relationships, who will feel like if a man is going to come in my life and I have children, he's not going to add value to that. He's not going to uplift myself and my children and help me become a better version of the person I was, the person that I'm striving to be, then there's no point in him being there. And as a woman, to me, that's a strong thing to stand on and say, you know what? I will do this alone than have to drag along somebody who is just going to be another thorn, or a thorn rather, not even another, but a thorn when I have the responsibility of raising my children, working a 9 to 5, making sure that they have everything they need, making sure, being a responsible woman to be a part of maintaining family structure within that part of my life and with my other family, and be out here and be a community activist and all these other things. To me, so, and I understand what you said, and that's valuable in what you said as a man. But there's different structures of women, and we also know that because of this society, so many women have gone through the ringer of different things. Some on purpose, some on not on purpose, some through just different things that have happened in their lives. The other part is, which, I mean, you know, I definitely agree with as a married woman because I am married to you. So I understand where we are.
It's like you ain't married to me. Move our relationship off the equation and speak freely. Don't worry about me. Just speak freely.
So outside of that part, I do agree that if a woman is married, she should stand on the rules that her husband has set for that house, especially if she has friends or certain things. Babe, can we not do that? It's causing me to look down and lose my thought. So when a woman is married and there's the husband, a righteous husband, let's put it like this, because it's hard. And I know a lot of men are, you probably going to be one of those and say, well, she with him, she got to do what he say. It's still very hard for a woman to follow an unrighteous husband and be so on point and make sure he has everything when he is a bum, scum. But when you have a righteous husband who is out there working hard, who's doing for your family, who's sustaining, who's taking care of you and your children, whether they're his or not, then yes, that desire, your desire, because the Most High already said our desires unto our man. But we do know that, as well, let's not say we as women know that it's harder for that desire to be so gung-ho, that zeal to be so strong when that man is consistently disappointing you. He's consistently losing his jobs because he won't go and further his education or his skill set so that he can become a stronger asset for his family. And these things are part of the woman's choice of being with that man. Like you said, she followed after lust or whatever it was. She desired after this man at that moment. So we have to definitely take accountability for who we choose to share in that space with. But as Sister Tracy said, society has done a number on what a strong woman's supposed to be. I don't look at society as where I'm supposed to be strong. I look at how I was raised. I look at the different things that I've gone through in my life. I look at the things that I'm doing right now. And that, to me, designs the strength of where I am and why I am such a strong woman, why I do stand on certain points and certain things. Because even with my daughters, I say, this is what I would like to see you choose in your husband or your mate. If they don't, I can't do anything about it, but I tell them and I explain my past, my choices, the bad and the good choices, so that they don't make those same choices. So far, I won't say that they've done the greatest, but they have surpassed me in so many of the choices I made as a young woman, and so that for that, I know that I'm showing them a strong woman in the stance of it's okay that you make certain mistakes, but you have to get back up and you have to learn from it. Whether you have a man come and stand with you to help you do it or not. Because in so many cases, we know that the way this society is or where we are living here in America, women outnumber men. So that's another reason why women, quote unquote, are being strong, because half the men that they desire aren't even in the vicinity of where they are. Half the men are in prison, the other half are gay, like all these different circumstances that women are battling. So it's like, for me, I mean, I don't, and one thing I will say, because you said broken and battered, that's a side of me. But the other part of me that's strong is because I know that what I bring to the table, I know I'm capable. I know I'm confident. I know I have integrity. I stand on the principles of what the Creator has placed in me and then what my family has said in me. So, everybody's opinion is going to be different, but I heard what your opinion is of a strong woman and what it isn't of a strong woman. And I think, sometimes too, people get intimidated by those attributes in a woman because they think that woman is going to then try to be a man about it. And most strong women are not trying to be men. Most strong women are really just trying to find, like Sis said, it's almost like a facade in so many ways, because if you don't put that on, you're going to cry all the time. You're going to be walking around with your head down and your shoulders slumped over because you're going to feel defeated. But you have to put on this armor that's not meant for you to carry, but you put it on and you stand up straight. You put your head up, you put your crown on, you readjust, and you keep it moving. And in so many ways, that's a strength that most men would never be able to even comprehend, because it's only in a woman that does that. And then a lot of women who can't comprehend that is because they've never had to be disappointed by a man. They've never had to go through certain things. And that's not to say that they should, because I really wish and I pray that no woman would ever have to go through heartbreak and disappointment and let down and having to be a single mother. All those things that brings those pains and things on a woman, that she does have to put on an armor of strength so that her children, when they wake up and see her, They don't see her broken. They don't see her withered away. They look at their mom and they're like, my mom is strong and beautiful because my mom provides for me. So I hear everything you're saying, and I know it sounds like this one standard of what you said, but there's a whole nother side to it. And I think that's what the problem is. People look at it as a battered or broken thing, but in so many ways it doesn't. And then even if it started as battered and broken, it doesn't have to remain battered and broken. I don't use my past relationships that did break me, that did hurt me, that did batter me. I don't use those as pillars for my strength in this day and time. I use them to be examples for younger women, my daughters and younger sisters that I'm around. I don't even use those as a crutch because that was just an experience I went through in my life. But what I do use right now for how I define myself as a strong woman, like I said before, I use the principles that my parents trained in me since I was a little child, and that I still stand on. I stand on the integrity that I can walk. Right now, I could walk out this gate, walk into a community, and nobody do anything to me, because when I come in there with the strength and the knowledge and the understanding of who I am and the purpose that I have to be there. So it's so many different ways that we can look at a strong woman. And I think part of that too for women is when they hear men say stuff like that, well, strong means you're broken and battered. That just adds to that broken and batteredness into them. And it also puts a certain self-esteem or puts a certain thing in their self-esteem to bring them down a notch or two, which in so many instances it's not even necessary. It's not even necessary to bring a woman unless you truly have sat and talked to that woman to see where her strength is coming from. It's certain things that each one of us need differently to continue to be strong. And then when they do find their husband that is stronger than them, that can help them to bring balance to that strength, then they get a whole different type of strength from that woman. And it's not the strong, they can take off that armor, so they don't have on this shield anymore, but they have this other strength that does exactly what you said, which is stand and say, hey, my husband said he wants this, this, and this done, so I need to be home. I'll holler at y'all later. Let's plan something else for 2 weeks from now so I can get my house in order. Boom, boom, boom. But that comes with growth, that comes with time, and that comes, and a lot of times, with the righteous man who stands there in order and who can maintain that for his wife, and he can help elevate her so that she can maintain that. So I see a lot of comments, so we can go to that, but I just had to get that out, babe.
Tracy, did you want to follow up?
Did you ask me a question?
Yes. Did you want to follow up with that comment?
Oh, she shut it down. I was agreeing with everything that what she was saying right now, because I love it. The fact that she was able to understand what I was trying to explain, but she did it she did it perfectly. And like I said, yes, better than broken. Yes, we do understand. I do understand that there was points in my life that definitely was me, but the strength comes with understanding why you were in that situation and still be able to come out of that situation without even, you know, I held accountability of why I was in that situation, but then I was able to overcome that situation so I don't make that mistake again. Unfortunately, some of our mistakes will follow us for the rest of our lives or anything like that. But the only thing we can do is just, it's not that we're happy or we're content with it or anything like that. It's just we just have to accept life for the way it is, because this was a lifelong decision that I've made. So I have to deal with it. And part of my strength is coming from just being able to deal with that situation without it, without me feeling low and down and just beat myself up about it because I can't change it.
Words of wisdom.
Yes.
May the Most High be praised. I'm about to embarrass all of y'all. Listen, you spoke with wisdom. Greatly appreciate it. I sometimes wonder how a woman would conduct herself if she had not experienced such a tumultuous relationship. If she had not went through life with such a toe-up man or a male, I can't say a man, I'm gonna say a male. If she had not have been abused, misused, kicked, spit on, smacked around, disrespected, and shown what a bad male is like, or a bad man, what he's like, I often wonder how that woman would be. Y'all follow me so far? So let's say she had not experienced all the trauma that you all experienced in your lives, whatever they were, the dramatic trauma, the abuse, the misuse, the batterness, the brokenness, all the things that you women have experienced in your life. Let's get a female who has not experienced those things. Now, what makes her a strong woman?
Well, what makes her a strong woman is, I mean, in my opinion, is the man that if she's married, it's the man that is she's with, her covering, who helps her to guide her, who helps to mold her into what we say is a Eshet Kayil.
What makes her in her character a strong woman?
Well, her principles.
Go ahead, keep talking.
So her principles in being a woman, being a wife, standing on her, like I said earlier, like if her husband says these are the rules for the house, her standing on those rules, no matter what others say, no matter the opinions of others around her, her saying, hey, I need to be in the house at 4 o'clock, 4:30, whatever it is, because I have to do such, such, and such. And then my other opinion, of course, is a strong woman comes from whatever, like different things her mother has taught her. If her mother was a strong woman, about being, a woman of nobility, a woman of, and when I say nobility, I'm not talking about titles or whatever, but nobility being, like I said, she can walk out her house and people recognize that, hey, that woman right there, she's about her business. She's going to handle what she needs to do in her household. She's going to handle what she needs to do when she come out of her house. She's going to handle, be a part of the community and set an example. She's a woman of great example. Like I said, a Eshet Kayil, a woman of value, a righteous woman. So, I mean, that's what I see. I'm sure you have more to add to that.
No. I wanted to hear from you. Chasey, would you tell me about that young lady who hasn't experienced all that batterness? What makes her a strong woman? If it's anything other than what Princess have said?
Yeah, to piggyback off of what she said, because to tell you the truth, it's like a woman that hasn't been battered or anything like that. Are you speaking from a woman that has possibly married or unmarried?
Give me an example of both.
Okay.
But she has not experienced the abuse of a man. Tell me about that woman. What makes her a strong woman?
What makes her a strong woman? Okay. So for a married woman, I think a lot of her strength probably comes from her man, which is her protector, everything. She really didn't have to carry that burden alone. So a lot of her strength comes from him, which allows her to function in her household properly, function out in the community properly, be able to come out of her house with her head held high. She's able to it's like when you have that strong backbone at home, it's like nothing really can really stop you. It's just that reinforcement and that reassurance that you have that. But for as a woman who's unmarried, I think a lot of that comes from her parents, how she was brought up, how, what the values and morals that her parents instilled in her. And she knows that, I'm going to be making great decisions with my life. I know that I'm not going to go down this path. So she was able to resist a lot of the nonsense that a lot of us are attracted to, what we think is strength. Even the certain men that we associate with strength, she's able to see that that's not really strength at all.
Very good. Y'all did an excellent job at explaining to me what a strong woman is. Now, I want to bring y'all down memory lane. When we started this conversation, y'all example of a strong woman, I said, that's not a strong woman to me at all. I said, what I'm hearing from y'all is an abused woman, a misused woman, a woman who's been spit on and kicked out and disrespected in the worst of ways. Oh, no, but y'all can say that. This is a strong woman. No, that's not strength. That's a response to abuse. That's someone trying to get over abuse. They have a reason to do what it is that they're doing. What I asked y'all was, what is a woman like who has not experienced that abuse? And the answer that you demonstrated, your whole spirit was different. Did you notice that? The whole energy that you brought forth the lesson with was entirely different. There was no no aggression. There was no hostility. There was no anger behind it. And it's because the both of you have experienced bad news in your life, and it ripped you up. It brought back memories, and the aggression was there, trying to defend a position that rightfully you don't own, you don't claim. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. When I asked you about a strong woman, you try to tell me, both of you try to tell me what a strong woman was based on what you experienced in life, but not really what you understood a strong woman to be. You could not give me the true definition of a strong woman until we took men out of the equation. And then you all was able to free up your spirit, and your mind was able to flow, and you presented the best possible answers that could have been presented. But it was done with a whole lot less aggression, almost no aggression, no hostility, no animosity. It was done freely of your own volition with a totally different spirit. That, what y'all just described, is a strong woman. What y'all first described, that I totally told you that's not a strong woman, was an abused woman. And both of you are showing that you have experienced that aspect in life, an abused aspect, and you're speaking on it. And that's why it comes out the way that it comes out. Because you have had bad males in your life who have ripped up, toe up, so you say. It's always two sides to every story. But you had bad experiences where you felt you got the worst end of the deal. So therefore, it was strong for you to be left with 3 and 4 children that you got to go out and make the money to come back to feed them. When they get sick, you got to be the one to nurse them back to health, take them to the doctors, wipe their butts when they little. You got to be the one, and that's frustrating, that's abused, that's misused, that's all the anger and hostility built up inside of your loins. Now, if you're walking around with all that hostility, thinking you're strong, you'll never get a man like that. Never. Because a man won't be interested in the energy that you're bringing because you don't know how to bring the energy. The energy that you'll be bringing is, you don't think anything is wrong with what you're saying, but you sound like a man. What man wants to marry another man? Especially not no righteous man. You don't think that you're coming off with hostility, anger, and bitterness, but you are. Now, if this man wants you bad enough, then he's going to cut through all that and get to the core of your issues and speak to you and raise you up and bring you out. But you got to first give him something to look at that he's going to feel like, let me go sit down and talk with her and find out what's going on with her. Because most men, when you come off in a way like y'all was speaking earlier in the beginning of this lesson, they don't want to be bothered with that. That's a waste of time. It's too much drama. No, man, I got too much going on. This man, a millionaire, getting dollars. Why would he slow down his process to tend to you? What's so different about you? What's so unique about you? You know what's so different and unique about you that will make that man slow down and pay attention? That second woman that y'all described. even though she, talking about y'all, even though she experienced all that drama, the way she presents herself is like that second woman, with no anger, no hostility, no bitterness, no points to prove, no fight backs to fight back, no reason to want to fight back. That type of woman is the woman that we need to get into the minds of Israel today. All of our sisters, we need to have that type of mindset. So whatever you've experienced with any dog, demon, whatever you want to call the dude that you had in your life, leave it all alone. And as I said earlier, a strong woman is one who can resist the outside of peer pressure and do what she has to do for her family, for her home. The same thing I'm saying to you right now. If you want to be a strong woman, then you have to resist all those experiences that you had outside with those dudes. Leave it alone. No matter how bad they did you, no matter how, whatever you experienced, they could have stomped you on the ground and did all kinds of things to you. You have to leave them alone. And you have to separate yourself from the memories of those relationships and stop dwelling on them. Because a lot of times when you outside of those bad relationships, you are constantly dwelling on what this guy did to you, what that guy did to you, what he said to you, how he punched you in the mouth, how he dragged you down the steps, how he took your car and crashed your car up around the corner and didn't tell you for 3 weeks. All these type of things are things that you're thinking in your mind and you don't know it, but it creates a monster inside of you. It gives you masculine energy, masculine toxic energy. And then when you're finally to a position where your girlfriend say, hey, I want you to meet somebody. This is one of the brothers from the class. His name is Prince Zedekiah. You say, how you doing, Prince Zedekiah? That's what he hears. You don't mean to do that, but that's how it comes out to him. All he hears is a man. And he doesn't want to marry a man. When does he hear a man? When you sit back and talk about all the drama you've been through, all the hardship you've been through, and I just stay home and do this. No, that's not going to work. My advice to any of you women that are single, that's looking for a husband, that's been through drama in the past, don't bring it up to your new man because he don't want to hear it. You're going to chase him away. Do not mention what you've been through in the past that was so hard and taxing on your life. Don't mention those things. Don't bring those things up. You are guaranteed to chase a good man away because good men look at where I'm going to place my time. And where men place their time is places that make them feel good, places that bring them value, places where they're being uplifted and they can see a benefit in it, thing that's going to profit their lives. That's where men spend their time. But if you walking around constantly talking about what this guy did to you, it's so easy. He did this to me, he did that to me, and I'm so abused. Boo hoo hoo. You're going to never find another man, a real man. You're going to only attract males in your life. And that's what you're going to end up with, another male. And then a few weeks later or a few months later or a few years later, you're going to have another sad story that you're going to be sitting back with another notch on your belt from another bad relationship. Because the spirit that possesses you is the spirit that attracts negative men. And if you ever want your life to get better, change the way you think. If you don't change the way you think, the same way you've been thinking is the same type of males that you're going to attract into your sphere. So you can tell me all these sad stories and all these horrible experiences, but it's 1 out of 100 million that you could remain in that place and meet a man of your dreams who's really a powerful man of your dreams, who is worthy and can unlock the chains that you got wrapped around your mind. But most men don't want to take the time to do that. They want a woman that's already ready to go. Not one, and you ain't, when I say already ready to go, you ain't got to be to college. You ain't got to have a degree. You ain't got to have a job. You could be on welfare eating oodles and noodles. But if your spirit is right, you'll get the man you're supposed to have. Your spirit says it all. When y'all start talking about that second woman who didn't experience that abuse and what y'all thought was a strong woman, that's who y'all have to become, even though you've experienced the abuse. And another thing I want to mention is that real men can detect your spirit just through the way you speak, your attitude, your aggression, your lack of aggression, the lack of aggression. What I say? I said the lack of aggression. Now, think about this for a second. If you've experienced somebody kicking in your door, tying you up, taking you down to the train tracks, tying you to the train tracks, and the train coming, you see the train getting closer and closer and closer. And as soon as the train get right next to you, where you know you're getting ready to get crushed, they pull you back so you don't get crushed by the train. They untie you, take you home, and put you back in your house. You see the traumatic the trauma that put in your mind? Every time you hear a train coming, or every time you hear somebody at your front door, or every time you're in the house and you're alone, there's a certain spirit that's on you. Can y'all imagine that right now? Can y'all really relate to what I'm saying? These things trigger something within you. Well, that's how most of the women are today that I'm speaking to from their past relationships, talking about they want to be married. There's something about you that's showing trauma in your personality, in your attitude, in your conduct, and in a way, even in the way you speak. There's trauma written all over it. And most men don't want to deal with that. Until you learn to separate yourself from your pain and become the new you and transform yourself and become that new person that you have to become, you're never going to get married. And you're going to always be talking about, I'm a strong woman, by your damn self. I'm strong, but you're alone. 5 years later, I'm strong, but you're alone. 4 years after that, 9 years, I'm strong. And she got 2 or 3 more children that she walking around, carrying around with her. But she's strong. She's a fool. That's what she is. And I just got to be honest and call it what it is. She's a fool because Prince talked to her 9 years ago and told her to let all that drama go and find out who you really are on your inward parts. Build her up. Leave that trauma out of your life, no matter what a man did to you in the past. Let him and let those memories go. Let them go. And learn who you are with the Almighty, with the Creator. Meditate, pray, fast. Understand how a virtuous woman is supposed to conduct herself. Even if you got children, it's okay. Even if you have Yellow Dean, it's okay. From those messed up relationships, you still have to forget those guys and forget what they've done. If they don't play no role in those children's lives, you do the best you got to do to make sure that you can provide. And I understand that. If they don't play their part, that's okay. But you have to remake yourself. And the only way you're going to be successful at remaking yourself is to let the trauma go that those people have brought into your lives. They kicked your door in, they tied you up, they dragged you out your house, bumped your head on the sidewalk, and tied you down to the railroad tracks. And when the train came, they got right to the train, got right to you and pulled you away. That is traumatic. That is a lot of trauma on your brain. Every time you hear a train, you're going to be looking. Every time you hear somebody knock, you're going to be looking. Every time somebody come in your house, you're going to be scared. You're going to be afraid. And all those negative energies come over you and overtake you. And somebody who just wanted to deliver a piece of mail to your house or drop off, the UPS man wanted to drop off a gift, they will feel that trauma. The man only wanted to take you out to dinner, but you had to go to dinner and tell him about all that hell you went through with all them different guys. Let it go, family. Let it go. And I see today that, and I hope I've explained to you all that y'all have no idea what a strong woman truly is. Y'all know what a strong woman truly is. It's just that y'all think y'all are strong. And that's not what makes you a strong woman. Well, we're only talking about aim, and Qatar has something here. And she's very right. She's absolutely correct. But I got to drop the jewel and let you know, Ima. The only men that want remade women is men who don't need to be remade. See, because the average man
It's ready-made, babe. Ready.
Remade.
No,
Ready. I
ready.
like the way I said it. Remade. I like the way I said it because that's what I said. Remade. The only men who don't need a remade women is men that don't need to be remade. And what I mean is don't mean that they're perfect. It don't mean that they're perfect. What it means is that they understand who they are. They got purpose and vision in life and they're moving in that direction. That's what that means. So yes, they'll be learning along the way other things that they need to experience. But they are the ones that these women, our women, need to meet. Because these men will be valuable men and they will come, it won't be a surplus of them. It will be a shortage of them. Therefore, he really got the pick that he wants to pick so many ways. So if he's wise, he will pick that which is best. He will take his time and he will pick that which is best. I hope y'all understand, because what I'm really saying is that you should be the best version of yourself. Be the very best that you can possibly be. And you can't be the best if you keep harboring on your sorrows and on all the pain and suffering that you've experienced, trying to be strong, trying to maintain your ideal of what strong is. Because that's not strength that a man sees. I like the part where y'all brought about the woman having honor and nobility and direction and it was some other words. I think Sister Aisha pulled up some other words too. But those things are what's needed in a woman for a woman to be strong today. She has to be a woman of her word. She has to be committed. She has to not give in to her desires and pleasures for her needs. A lot of us today, we give in to our desires and we give in to our pleasures and we disregard our needs. So she has to be one of those type of women who are disciplined in her actions and her thoughts and her deeds. She has to be. And if she spent any amount of time in that area of life, she will get what she commands from the Almighty. And the only way she can command it from the Almighty is to become that type of woman. When I first met my wife here, that's on the line, well, both of them is on the line, but I'm speaking about this one right here, the one who spoke so how can I say, prophetically earlier today, so boldly and successfully. The one who spoke there, I didn't see any aggression in her. I didn't hear the aggression in her voice. She was way soft-spoken than she is now. Now she's more aggressive than I ever known her. Especially after hearing her today, because she already got the prize, and that's what they do. They change up after a while, but she ain't got bad. You know what I mean? She ain't to that place where she got to be let go because she's masculine. That ain't happening. But when I first met her, oh yes, come on, I can't even imitate y'all like y'all. You know how y'all do. Your voice is just like a singer, like you real low and soft and gentle, and you talk slower, you're patient, you're kind, you're respectful. You know all the right things to say to make a man look at himself and say, I got muscles? I ain't know I had muscles. Y'all know how to do that. And all that is a woman knowing her strength. And once a woman knows her strength, there is nothing that she will need from a man that she can't get. Let me see what Abba had to say. I didn't know there was no men on the page with me. I was about to cry. I had no men. Let's see what Abba should say. He should also be one that hasn't caused damage to women in the past, but now wants a virtuous, untamed woman. A man should also be able to be a healer when and if it arises for him to be so. He's absolutely right. He has to be able A man, see, the things that he just described is a man. The only thing that I have to disagree with is that he should also be one that hasn't caused damage to women. I would say many women. He hasn't caused damage to many women. And I say that only for this reason. If he's never caused damage to a woman, then that would make him a perfect man. And most men elevating to their level of manhood has caused damage in the life of a woman many years in his past. But within the last 10, 20, 30, however old he is, within the last recent years, no, I would agree with Abba on that one. Within the last recent years. But if you go back in his development stage, when his beginning of his time, he's caused damage, but he's learned from the damage that he's caused to the women. He perfected himself, and he knows how to do and live and demand things without causing damage. Now, that I think would be a good example, but I do like what he's saying. All right? I ain't know I had the help of any man. Oh, boy, thank you, Abba, for standing up. I thought it was just me today, man. All the men seem like they left, but I'm so glad you're here. Any other men in the house, let me know you're here, please. Help a brother out a little bit. That he needs to be able to elevate her to the way he has elevated himself. Absolute. Now, that is 1,000. Let me get that on the screen so people seeing that can hear that, because that is so important. If that man chooses to take the time to get with a broken woman, if he does, or if she uses her strength and finds a way to get with a man without letting him know that she's broken, and then I would prefer that way, and then later on reveals to him her pain. He has to be, by being a man, he will know how to do this. If he's a male, he won't. But by being a man, he would have to get into her mind, her subconscious being, and raise her up mentally. She might not ever achieve the level where he is, but she will be far surpassed the level where she was and where all of her peers are. Then you can truly see the help that he's brought into her life. And that's what it's about. That's exactly what it's about. All right, Bane, I see you. So, Abba, you are absolutely right. Abba, hey, Abba, how about I send you the link and you come in here and speak a little bit? How about that? Would you like that, Abba? Because you can do it too, man. I ain't got to do this. Not by myself. If you want, you can come up and talk a little bit. And you got wisdom, you got knowledge just as much as I do, probably more. So you can always come up and share some of that with the ladies and let them know, how good men choose women, how real men choose women, and not how males, because a male is only looking for a few things. Somebody took their phone off mute. Let me be quiet for a minute. Ima, did you wish to speak? See how she got me trained, y'all? All she had to do was take her phone off mute. And what I do, Ima, that's a woman who knows her strength. You see that? She knew her strength. She ain't had to open her mouth. She didn't have to give me the look. She just said, whoop. And Prince knew to be quiet. Ima, you got the floor.
I like what you were saying. And I think it is important that all those aspects of strength is brought out. One thing I noticed in the comments is a lot of people saying healing. Healing is very important, because a broken woman, a hurt woman, a damaged woman can be, if she's not healed or seeking to heal, she can be dangerous, just as well as a broken man or a damaged man can be very dangerous to the next person that may come along into their life. So what I was, it was something you said about, you was talking about our beginning. So yes, because part of the reason why I do say I'm strong is because most people, when they meet me, that's the first thing they say is, "Oh, you're such a strong woman," and I think they look at my demeanor because A lot of people say when they first meet me, I'm not smiling. I'm just standing there and watching and observing. And I observe a lot and I do smile a lot. But when I first meet people, I stand and I observe because I need to know where.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yes.
What you just said was you don't smile and you be looking all stiff faced and you be observing. That's the signs of the abuse. That's what we're talking about right there.
Okay.
That type of, not necessarily you. I'm just saying that, see, that's a result of what you've experienced. You got to check people out. You got to make sure they cool before you open up and let go. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Well,
I ain't going to interrupt you no more.
I won't say that that's always the signs of abuse or a broken woman. I grew up in a very disciplined household. And I mean, and a lot of people know how I grew up. So when you grow up in a space where you have to be on guard, you have to watch your surroundings. Like a lot of that is why I stand at attention and just observe people, because I need to see, for me, that gives me a clearer vision of how I need to look and carry on with that person. A lot of people get offended by it, but that's just that's my guard. And yes, part of it did come from the damaged relationships with men and women. And I'm not saying in women like as I was in a relationship with a woman on that level, but friendships, sisterhoods that I've had with women that have gone way left because it happens. Women will become real whatever with you, and they can hurt you just as deep as a man can when you consider them a sister or a good friend, best friend, whatever, right? So I was saying that to say, like, I still had that guard up with you, but I do, and I will admit, yes, I was more soft spoken communicating with you in the beginning. I mean, and there's times where I'm still like that. I'm not always aggressive. And I know when I am aggressive, why I'm aggressive, what's triggering the aggression. And it could be so many things. And I could be honest, most times it's not even a past relationship. It's a past experience of the way I grew up. And I'm very keen on my security. And when I feel like my security is being jeopardized in any way, whether it be we driving and certain things or whatever, it's like a thing that just clicks off on me, and I do become this different type of like person where I'm on guard, where that means that different type of aggression that a lot of men may not like, because to them it's like, wait a minute, why, I'm here, I'm protecting you. And it's not to question your protection as a man. It's just understanding that. And I think part of that comes to understanding the type of woman you marry and the type of man you marry. So, I could say for me and a lot of the sisters that I grew up with, our strength, or let me not even say that, our aggression or our on guardness has a lot to do with how we were raised. Like when I'm out in the public, even though, y'all be like, no, the brothers have to come with y'all. I definitely appreciate it because I don't want to be walking in the streets and still having to be like, and I still do it, watch, check my peripheral, look behind me when I'm walking, making sure ain't nobody 10 steps back, trying to hide behind a tree coming at me or whatever like that. So it feels good to have brothers and other sisters walking with you and doing that. But it's still innate in me to do it as well. And a person might feel like, oh, when you're doing it, they might feel like you're not trusting them to have your back. But it's not even about that. It's just the fact that that's just what's within me. And it brought me to think about even some women, they may not have been broken by a relationship. They could have just been broken by their parents, how their parents had broken relationship. Their mother talked down to them as a woman. Their father talked down to them as a woman. It's so many different aspects of why women carry a certain demeanor. And I'm not negating anything you said about us being in our femininity, us being soft-spoken, us being classy, all those things, walking in our nobility. Sometimes, the things that we have to overcome from being raised by certain parents who were abusive, who were not parents, who were not even ready to be parents. It puts in different aspects of you as a woman. And it does take, and I like what Ab said. It does take, and you said it too, Abba. No, you said it too. It does take a strong man who knows himself, who in some ways may have been an abuser, may have been a womanizer, or may not have been. But if he has been any of those things and he's elevated himself to find himself in a better space, that he also, when he's with his women or woman, that he seeks to bring her in that space as well. And he doesn't try to look for imperfection in the person, when we all know that that's almost impossible. And I think also it takes a man to be very astute, and then it's not even being vulnerable or sensitive, but an astute man who can recognize, you know what, I was once that man that broke this woman, not this particular woman, but I broke women like her. Now, part of that responsibility, I'm not saying you have to fix her from what that man did, but if you truly are wanting and desire to bring that woman into your life, then part of that responsibility is saying, you know what, I can understand her brokenness from this man's part. I know what that looks like because I did that to somebody. Let me see what I can do to help. I know you want to say something. 1 second, babe, please. I'm just saying we do have to take responsibility, just like a woman. If I know that it's kind of like if I say certain things to you, Abba, right, that I know are going to trigger something. You may not recognize the trigger, but I can, because I'm a woman and I know I've done this to another man. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what's going to trigger him to get da 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 da. And because we know each other and you've told me about your past, I say, oh, I don't want to say that because that'll trigger him and then make him think about whatever happened in his past, or what that last woman may have done or didn't do when she was his wife or woman or the mother of his children. You know what I'm saying? So everything that has been said, I think, is so important. I think the biggest thing is looking at the different aspects. It's okay. I think it's looking at the different aspects of what has built those women's characteristics, and all I was saying earlier, Abba, truthfully, is not just using or saying that woman is only strong because she was broken or abused, but there could be different things. I mean, there could be different reasons why, and then that abuse doesn't always come from a relationship with a man. It could have been just because her father wasn't good to her, her mother wasn't good to her, or she had some good friends who turned their back on her in a very mischievous and vicious way. So I'm just saying there's so many levels to think about it. And I do want to say, yes, I know that I'm, like I said, I'm going to still say, I know I'm a strong woman, but I also understand that in certain aspects of those broken things, I've healed from it. Certain aspects I haven't, because it's just reality of where we are. But we women know when there's a man or the creator has placed something very special in front of us. So we know how to get back to that woman that you had us describe, who was not tainted by these men, who was not tainted by these bad relationships or bad experiences. We know we have her inside of us, but it truly takes a lot. And it takes patience and time, and it takes consistent loving that woman. And I don't mean loving by where a lot of people think I'm talking about, holding her and kissing on her. I mean loving her, loving the depthness of her, to bring the innocence of that woman back out, even when she's been tainted, even when she's been hurt and damaged, because she's still in there. She's just now she's like, it's like a scab. She's scabbed up. And once that scab comes off and that new skin comes, it truly is gonna, if she's in a new relationship, he's gonna have to know how to nurture that new skin to make sure that once it blends in to take over what's been damaged in her, so that no longer is something that she can look at and say, oh, I got this from that. She can look at it and say, you see how beautiful my skin is? Yeah, my man did that for me. But that does take a lot, Abba. And so that's what I was saying. Everything you said, it's not that. I know I was talking in aggression earlier, and you're right. Certain things will trigger certain things. but it's also because sometimes a man can describe a woman in a way and it feels like they're not understanding that woman. And it's like it's hard to kind of just accept that sometimes, because it's like, wait, if you just listen or look at it different this way, then you won't just describe me as broken and battered, but you'll describe me as this, because this is truly where I am. I know you're saying no,
We
but
ain't
this
got time for that. We ain't got time for that.
you do.
No, we don't. Only time we got time for that is like I said to you earlier, said to the family earlier, you don't reveal that part until after you already married. Then y'all have those conversations. But if you reveal that part in the beginning, we ain't got time for that because we didn't do that to you. And all we see is you're going to cause us to suffer because of the mistakes of another man. And we're going to move on.
So how did so because you started to talk about me, so how did I come off to you in the beginning?
It's like I just said to you, all sweet and kind and loving and workable and you know, you to me, if the creator wouldn't have told me to marry you, I probably wouldn't have married you. But I'm gonna tell you about you that would have made me marry you if the creator wouldn't have said it, and I would have just said, all right, I'm gonna marry her. Just so that the world would know. You had a femininity about you that a lot of women don't possess. A lot of women don't carry that spirit today. We would sit down and talk, and you would open up, and we would have real heartfelt, deep conversations about what you wanted to be, and what you was going through at the time in your life, where you were, what you wanted to achieve. And then I saw how everybody else around you treated you. And when I saw how everybody else around you treated you, I said, no, I can't be like this. I can't do it like that. Nah, she deserves so much more. You had a golden child inside of you, but you didn't have no problem exposing her to me because that's what I saw. I didn't see. If you wouldn't have told me about all the experiences that you received with those males in your life, I would have never known. Because you wasn't wearing that on your shirt. You know, that wasn't in your speech, it wasn't in your language. You were so workable, so work-wittable, so willing to do, so willing to help. You was just there. So you earned that right to be called princess today. You earned it. It wasn't no lustful thing, and that's what makes it the best out of everything else. It was no lustful. I don't know about how it was on your behalf, you know.
We already had that discussion.
But there was no lustful demon in the midst of this taking over our minds and making us run in a certain direction. It was truly about purpose, the way that a marriage should be. Now you ain't listening to me. You talking to somebody else now.
I'm listening to you.
Oh, I forgot, y'all. Women can do multiple things at one time, right? Right? Yeah, right. All right. I'll be quiet and wait till you're done.
I'm listening. The baby was talking to me. I'm listening.
You weren't just talking to no baby. You looking up in the sky, baby little.
I was talking to Free. She was standing there.
All right. Yeah. That's like I thought. See, I was trying to tell y'all. Watch them. No, but seriously, all jokes aside, that's what it was that allowed me to see you. You know, those conversations, I remember one night, the first night, what I'm saying is I'm not trying to tell y'all about my personal business with my wife, but what I'm trying to tell y'all is how a man judges to determine if a woman should be in his life or not. You understand what I'm saying? If a woman comes off and she's telling you all this, he did this to me, and this one kicked me, and that one stepped on me, that one spit on me, and this one left me with 8 kids, and all. Don't nobody want to be bothered with that. No real man. A real man wants to look into your soul, pierce into your soul, and see who you are on the inside if you're workable. If you're agreeable, which means that everything he presents to you, you ain't going to tear it down, shoot it up, and not work with it. You know, you have to be willing. If you have the ability to create something in the future, if he places it in your hands. Now, I tell you, Beulah land, all that community we got going right there, It's because of that woman right there. She's the backbone to that makes that pop and snap and dance and do what it does. She's the lively one to make all the things happen in the background. It's that woman right there. But you got to know how to choose a woman, the purpose that you have for her in your life. We gotta understand that, brothers. We just can't see a girl that look good. She got a big butt and nice breastises. Her yafet, basar yafet. No, you got to look past all that. Don't make that mistake. We made that mistakes too many times in life, and what have got us? Broken households, single women with babies, dudes going from place to place to place to place, planting their seeds and not taking care of none of them. Women getting depressed, creating masculine women when they used to be feminine. Now they're like tomboys and they don't even know it. Their whole voice, the structure of their tone, all of that has changed. And it's a result of males taking advantage of missing and using them and beating them up and abusing them. Dude don't want to come home at night. He don't want to pay no bills because he don't want to go get no job. He don't want to manage the house correctly. The woman, he lets the children run and do whatever they want to do. He's supposed to be the one to disciplinary and say, no, you can't do that, Peter. You can't do that, little Tommy. You can't do that, Billy. He's supposed to do all that, but he doesn't because he's not there. Therefore, the boys are being raised by their mothers, and the mothers can only do their very best, which is feminine, and is teaching the boys how to be feminine. Women don't understand how important it is for your young man to be in the presence of a man. They don't understand that. Oh, I can do this myself. I'm going to take my boy and I'm going to raise him, but you can't because you're going to raise a little homo. You're going to raise a little soft dude. And just looking at him, you can't tell if he a girl or boy. You don't understand this, sisters. Y'all don't understand this, but we men, we know this. Boys need men. Now, if you got a girl and you're a single mother, that's a whole lot better off on you than for a single mother to be trying to raise little boys, let alone one boy. All right. Sister Chasey, would you like to speak? Because I done blew for a minute now. My vocal cords need a rest.
You said a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like what Abba said because when he came in here, you said that he's backing you. He actually was backing us. That's how I felt about it. Because it's like I felt that I'm hearing what you're saying, but you went in on a lot of, like, we were speaking about, strong women, different things like that and such, but I feel like we're kind of trying to find the correct words for this.
And that's what you are, confused.
No, I'm not really I'm not confused. I'm just trying to find the correct word for what I'm saying. But we are like what is that word?
Complicated?
No, that's not it either. Yeah, we
Oh,
can be, but men can be that as well. But that not exactly where I was going, but I'm gonna step on to the next subject because yes, you went in on how women, a lot of us are damaged and broken, but we're dealing with a lot of damaged and broken men too.
Where are they at? Where the damaged and broken men at?
Listen. If it wasn't the case, I would have been married a whole long time ago.
All right, let me clarify so you understand, sis. Men are not damaged and broken. Males are damaged and broken.
So can I say something?
Then she was speaking. Hold up. There's a difference between a man and a male. Men knows their position in life. If they were at one time, they're healed and they're moving forward. If they were broken, they're healed and they're moving forward. That's what classifies him as a man. But a male is the one that I hear all y'all talking about when y'all complain. Those are males. They're not men. There's a difference. But I understand where you're coming from. A lot of males are damaged, broken, and beat up and no good. They trash. And I agree with you.
And that's exactly what I was saying. I wasn't saying men as I was speaking of the male species. That's what I was speaking about. But however, it's like, it's like we are both coming together as these damaged individuals, because the thing is about it, even us as a woman who we have found ourselves and we know that we need to be walking in our feminine divinity and everything or whatever, we're coming across a lot of these males who have not gotten there yet
Absolutely.
as well. So
Absolutely.
it's really, it's a tough situation, because it's like, I can say I came a long way from when I was 18 years old just trying to figure out life to 38 years old now. Well, 37, I'm making 38 this month. Um it's I have seen a major transformation. I'm definitely a lot more calmer. I'm not taking, you know, things as I'm not taking life as I'm taking life seriously, but I'm not. It's kind of like a movie. I'm the director of my own movie, and I'm just basically have taken back control of my life and stopped letting certain things, when I started being accountable and everything, and knowing that I was the reason for a lot of the things that where the direction what my life has taken, I was able to, see life a lot more clearer. And I'm now like, okay, now that I've figured that out, I'm definitely taking the steps to just, meet more wholesome people, meet more wholesome men. I've definitely, I would say I'm definitely a whole lot more feminine in the way that I'm thinking now than I was back then, because I raised my kids by myself with the whole situation. So I would have to be the mother and the father in different things until that situation changed. So it was like I was living in masculine energy. I was also living in feminine energy. I didn't know how to differentiate the two. I just associated with, oh, I'm just being strong. I'm I'm just, as a man
Yes.
will say, I'm difficult.
Yes.
You're being difficult. You're being this, you're being that. But also I really felt like I had to be that way to get through life.
Yes.
Because it's gonna if I didn't have tough skin, life would have beaten me up and thrown me up and spit me out a whole long time ago. So for a man to come to me and tell me, oh, you're being difficult, or you're being this, or you're being that, or you're too this for me, or you're too that for me, I'm like, okay, well, move over to the left, because this is just me. But I do understand that, even if I am calm, it's just my experiences or different things, or if I don't even take their nonsense, they're calling me difficult. Even though the thing is about it, a lot of men will throw nonsense in your face, but then still want to call you difficult for not taking it. And this
Hey,
is the type of
sis.
stuff that that a lot of us women are. Not even just me. I'm speaking to a lot of my, like, different friends, different women I'm speaking to. So it's a tough situation, because we're trying to deal with these men and try to see them, okay, well, you know, they're taking all of this damage, whatever they've been through, and now want to come and call us difficult because we don't want to take the nonsense that they're bringing. I don't understand that.
Sis, can you give me an example of what you mean, the nonsense that they're bringing? Like, give me an example of some of the nonsense. The nonsense
Well,
that they didn't want you. They got mad at you because you didn't want to accept it. What was nonsense? What's an example of that?
okay, a lot of men do. Okay, I would say, for instance, some men do provoke women to anger. Provoke, they will tell you something that they know they wouldn't want to hear themselves. I literally, okay, just the other day I was speaking to, a man or whatever, speaking about, we were even speaking about different things like that, but definitely he was not that spiritual guy that understood poly relationships in the way, you understand it. He was just speaking about it in the sexual way of things or whatever it was. So he was saying things like, oh, okay, so what if I brought another woman in and different things like that or whatever it is? And I'm like, okay, why, he was like, if I brought another woman in the picture, different things like that or whatever it was. But he was just speaking about it like to say, oh, okay, I just want a threesome or different things like that. But when I flipped the other way, okay, what if I brought another man in? Now he's upset. Okay, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, okay, you want to go ahead and dish out all of this mess that you're speaking, but if I had to do it to you, you wouldn't like it. So it's like similar situations like this. If you had to lie, do different things like this, they expect you to take it. But then when they do it, that's just my bad. I apologize. Or why you gotta act like that? Or why you gotta be angry about it, knowing that they wouldn't like it if it had to be done to them.
So
So I'm speaking.
basically, you're saying if you had a job, if you got this, okay, no, I can't even say it that way. Go ahead, sis.
No, I'm pretty much. I'm
Yeah,
listening to you.
you're touching on something. You're touching on something that's very important. How if the roles was vice versa, they would have an issue. They feel like they can do things and get away with it, but the women can't do what things and get away with it without them getting upset about it. So if you're a bum as a wife, he would divorce you, but you can't divorce him because he's a bum as a husband. That's what you mean, right?
But in a way, basically, it's just like I said, they
He
expect you
wants you to
to
stay
take.
into it.
Yes, stay with them when they're doing their mess, but when you do yours, they want to call you difficult. Or
If
if you know, actually, you don't even have to do the mess. It's when you retaliate to the nonsense that they're doing. That's when they want to say that you're a difficult person.
you know that might be a form of unrighteousness, though, sis. These people that you're speaking of, these males, may just be unrighteous, and you need someone who really fears the Almighty in order for this type of lifestyle that you're talking about to manifest itself. So maybe you're looking in the wrong places and allowing the wrong people to enter into your circle where you're having these conversations. Maybe you need to look for someone that's looking to make the creator their king, as opposed to a man that's just chasing after worldly things. Because it seems like, from what I'm hearing, you want a man of virtue, a man of discipline, a man of righteousness, a man that keeps his word, a man that's not going to be a liar about all these different situations. That's what it appears, if I'm correct. If I'm not following you right, that's what it appears that you want. Somebody's going to be responsible. And if that's the case, it's very rare that you would find a man like that just wrapped up in the world on the streets. You usually have to go to a place where those type of men are and get noticed by them because of your way that you act, how you conduct yourself, the spirit you hold, the discipline that you have taught yourself, the way that you have become is what's going to attract that type of man in your circle, so you can show him who you are, and he'll be willing to say, hey, listen, let's go out and let's have a date. Let's talk. Let's exchange numbers. Or let me talk to your father. Or however that goes. That type of situation, you're going to have to go into a different settings, because if you're looking for trash guys and you're looking for males, then you keep going to the club, keep going to the bar, keep going to the after hours spot. And that's what you're going to meet. When you meet a man, it's a different story, but you ain't going to just meet a man in those places. Very rare that you'll meet a man in those places. You got to go places where men are. And I'm not just talking about you, sis. I'm talking about any woman that's really looking for the character of a man that I hear you describing. They're not going to be easy to get, first of all. You have to be someone who earns that type of a man. And if he grabs you and if he finds you likable and workable, then that opportunity is presented. But if you still going in and you still being husky, then what would happen is he'll be there, but he won't be there for you. He'll be there for somebody else. So, my advice still stands. And yes, I do agree with you earlier that, in my opinion, Abba's comment was geared in y'all's favor. I do believe that. But true, the words that he said was still true and powerful and meaningful. So that's what I meant. Not that I felt like he was agreeing with me or siding up with me, but he was right. He was factually right. All right? All right. So where we at, family? Mr. Casey, you want to say anything else? You got your mic open. You want to say anything else?
Okay, so yeah, for that was just one scenario. I couldn't get anything up off of the top of my head or whatever. And I was just giving you an example of, like, basically a lot of people will dish out what they can't take or whatever it is. But when I say that, a lot of people really, like, when I'm saying, like, a lot of men will, like I said, a lot of them will push your buttons, just like I said, like in my past relationship with my ex-husband, different things like that. Truly, like, if he will say something that will get me upset and I'm trying to say, can we please stop? Or we even went to counseling, to anger management, different things like that, because you know we were both in the military at the time or whatever, so they sent us to, like, marriage counseling, and anger management was one of the things that they said, okay, maybe you need to learn how to control your anger, different things like that or whatever. So I am exercising, they were saying something like a safe word when you know that you're being triggered. Say a safe word and that person is supposed to automatically stop the conversation, and you can revisit it later, because it is, the conversation is getting a little bit too heated and people might say things that, they can't take back. So when I exercise that, when I used to use our safe word, and I'm like, listen, stop, I'm getting upset, please stop, 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 or whatever. Literally 20 minutes, I'm begging this guy to stop. Stop. And then after a while, I just blew up, because it's like you won't stop. And then after the end, that's when they want to put their hands on you or do whatever they do, because now when they push your buttons, now they want to inflict, hurt or whatever, because their ego has been, hit, or whatever you had to say, or in response to whatever they're doing to you. Now they're mad and want to make you feel like, okay, you're the one that did the wrong thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, some people really do press you to, or push you to anger, or willfully or spitefully, or different things like that, because some people just don't listen.
Okay.
Or some people,
So let me ask you a question,
yeah.
Sister Casey.
Hmm.
You see how you was just talking to us? You said, could you please stop?
Yeah.
Is that how you said it to him? Or did you say something like, motherfucker, no, stop?
Oh, no. I was calm. Honestly, I'm remembering that situation today. I was calm because, like I said, I was pregnant at the time, and like I said, my health and my well-being, my children came first. I didn't want to raise my blood pressure. All I know, he was getting me upset, and I was like, hey, conversation is getting a little tense. Let's use our safe word or whatever it was. I can't even remember what our safe word, but I
And
kept
he
saying
wouldn't
it.
honor it.
And he wasn't having it. He kept pushing. And I literally sat there for about 20 minutes listening to this man down me. Down me.
So let me ask you this. Out of the things that he was downing you about, did he say anything that was true, that resonated in your mind, that you said, I need to work on and fix?
Actually, no, because what he was doing, and he knew that that was the issue was he was always comparing uh he was always comparing somebody else's lifestyle to ours. I think it was some friends that I've never even met, and he kept talking about, you know, he kept talking about it was a another couple that he's met, and he kept comparing that woman to me or something like that. And I asked him, like, before, you know I asked him, I was like, hey, this woman a little bit too much or whatever it was. I said, you keep comparing this person to me, and I'm just me. You don't really even know me like that, because like I said, we had a military relationship, but we were always separated. We have never lived together, so he was always throwing me in situations like we were this couple that were all this togetherness and whatever, and always comparing our relationship to their relationship and different things. But I was like, how can you compare this woman to me, but you're not, but the with the husband, he's giving her the support that she needs, but you're not doing it for me. So basically, he is saying everything that I'm not doing, but he's not even acknowledging what he's not doing, or he's not acknowledging what that husband is doing for that wife to make her behave that way. You know. So it was just basically he was just trying to knock me down, trying to compare me to other people and compare me to other relationships, comparing our relationship, but yet he's not doing what he was supposed to do to make me behave even similar to that woman he's trying to compare me to. So I used to just tell him, stop. Can you please stop? You know what I mean? Can you please stop?
You're
Trying to say
right.
what I'm doing, what I'm this and what I'm not doing, to just stop. So then I blew up and told him basically what I felt about him. And he couldn't take it when I said it, because I really knew it was going to take a bad turn. But he just kept provoking, and he will smirk while he's doing it. So he know that he's actively provoking me. So this is what I'm talking about when I said a lot of men provoke some, well, males, if you want to be, correct term, will provoke a lot of women to anger. And this does later, it does mess with our self-esteem, because if you're with a man, you're married to this man, and he's just downing you and telling you what you're not and what you're this and what you know you kind of start, even though it's not, you kind of psychologically start to believe it, because it's like, I didn't know better back then. This was when I was in my 20s, and I didn't really know any better. So I started to believe that stuff, even though, when I came out of it, I saw that a lot of it wasn't true and it was just manipulation. But at that time, you couldn't tell me that stuff wasn't true.
Mm.
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these men will provoke you to anger. A lot of these men are damaged. A lot of these men will, whatever situations they've grew up in, maybe he saw that maybe he saw the men in his family provoking women. He saw, and he actually did. He saw men in his family provoking women, hitting women, different things, and he did this to me. But you know what? I didn't at that time. Like, oh, he's just a good, cool guy. He's in the military doing well for himself. We're both on the same path. I wasn't seeing how his upbringing and how his damage and brokenness, he brought it in.
Sister Chasey, we're losing your signal. You're going in and out.
I'm sorry. Did I just cut out because someone was
Yes,
calling me on my phone?
yes.
Okay. I'm not sure where I left off, or what didn't you
Well,
hear?
the last part was talking about how you're in the military, and he'd be like, "This is going to work. This should work because he's a good guy. He got the military, good career." A little while after that is where we lost you.
Okay, so I was saying I didn't really connect a lot about, because he did tell me a lot about his upbringing. But me at my early 20s, I didn't really understand that your past has a lot to do with your behaviors today. And when he did tell me that he was raised by a pimp uncle, when his mother died from a, he really had a rough upbringing. Like his mom was a crackhead. He was raised pimp uncle. He was this and that. So all I'm seeing is like, oh wow, he overcame that. Oh, he's in the military. Oh, I guess that stuff doesn't have any impact on him. But now I'm seeing that, oh, now we're in a relationship. I'm seeing, yeah, really have issues. And I didn't know. That's how I knew that, a lot of what he's been through in his childhood and his upbringing had a lot to do with the way he treated me.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's true. That's true for a lot of males. See, a man has surpassed that. Man has already gotten in touch with himself. He's healed from those damages and he's moved forward. He's focused. But a male hasn't, they haven't achieved that. They don't recognize the damage that they do in people's lives. There's no accountability in the life of a male. But there are a difference between the two. And most males, their life, even a man can't tell a male how he's supposed to conduct himself because he won't listen. He won't listen. He'll think that it's okay. Oh, I just don't treat these women right. Like I got a buddy, I told y'all about a buddy of mine a while ago. He's a great guy, you know, but he hates women. He hates black women. If you any other nationality other than black, he'll love you to death. But he hates black women because he says black women are unruly, disrespectful, arrogant, nasty, lazy, don't want to do nothing. He speaks real harsh about black women. And it's we do have a lot of women like that, but nowhere near, they don't deserve nowhere near the disrespect that he shows because he despises black women. We have a lot of people in both sides, the men and the women's side, who fit those categories, but he doesn't focus on negative men. What he does with negative men, if you're a weak man and you succumb to the love of a woman, and you all about taking care of that woman and boo-hooing and calling and babying up all the time, he'll separate himself from you for that. He won't even want to talk to you if you're that kind of a person. But if you hard on a female, you a female abuser, he'll love that. And there's a lot of guys out here that are like that. What I also notice about my brother is that he's an alcoholic because he himself has been hurt and he himself has been abused by a woman. So therefore, he walks around and harbors a lot of that pain inside of himself, not knowing how to give it out or how to put it out. So he more than likely will never be a man in this life until he first gets to master who he's been in his past life. That's a difference. And he got a couple dollars. He got a couple properties. He works for himself. He got a lot of that stuff going on, but he's not a man. There's a difference. Big difference. Yeah, the big difference. See, a man has already been through the drama. He's like Abba said, he had already hurt women. But a man has risen from that level. He's understand that he dragged women through the mud. One point in his life, he has to begin to make a change. And that's the beginning of him coming into his manhood. This guy just turned 50-something years old the other day. He's 50-something years old. And if he don't realize it by the age of 50, there's a problem. There's a problem. I would suggest that if he doesn't learn it by the age of 40 and begin to bring himself under subjection, because it's a long time before you can master that spirit called ego. It's a long time, and it's a process. And for a male to ever desire to become a man material, he has to master ego. He has to be disciplined. He has to have self-control. And if he doesn't, and you got a lot of males that's 60 and 70 years old, and a lot of them are leaders of congregations. A lot of them are counselors and teachers and things of that nature. But when you talk about them and themselves and maturing and coming into manhood, learning themselves and mastering the worst part of themselves to making it better, they fail in that area. They fail, and they fail immensely. So just because he's of age doesn't make him a man. You got a lot of men that's 24 and 25 years old. Men that's 25, 24 years old because they handle their responsibility. They're men of their word. They keep the honor intact, the loyalty intact, the integrity is intact, and they worship the Almighty. And they may not be as successful as the one that's 40 years old financially, but their spirit is in order. They're in check. And they know the direction that they're going in. They have discipline, they have control, and they don't abuse the opposite sex. Why don't they abuse them? Because they don't abuse people that are weaker than them. What I mean by weaker, a lot of women raise their hands up when I say weaker. Because when I say I use the word weaker than them, the man is always supposed to be in a leadership position. In order for a man to be in leadership, he has to have strength about him that others don't have. That's the whole purpose and meaning of what a leader is. It doesn't mean that he has to be the strongest in every area, in every aspect of their life, but it means that he has to be the strongest of the two. That's what I mean. And a lot of people need to understand that. Most people don't understand that. Most people. Are there any other questions? Sisters, Ima, are there any other comments you guys would like to make?
No, I think today, besides, I think today was very informative. Yeah, I just appreciate the opportunity to speak in the audience, being here and saying their opinions and conversations. One second. Their conversation and input and the growth that comes from it. Because I think even when we disagree, these conversations are so important because it does help to see men's perspective, women's perspectives, because I think that's where the beginning of learning how to change. You get what I'm saying? Like if you're seeking something better, and when it comes from a person that you can actually see value in their opinion or even in the facts that they may present, then it can help you become a better person too. Because a lot of times that is what helps people, hearing other people's perspective. Because a lot of times you might hear something, but there is no conversation to kind of even get to an even playing field or balance in it. Because as you said, because sometimes somebody will say something, and the first thing you do is you get defensive, you become aggressive with it. So anything else they hear, you won't really hear it. But the fact that we can have these conversations, go through those motions, hear each other out, I think is where that healing begins and where that the positive change begins, because you can truly be like, okay, I can see, those things, and I can see where I need to change in that way or become a better, version of myself in this way, and tweak this and that. And then it also helps women who are seeking for men, to kind of like differentiate between the two, because the world doesn't teach you that really. You know what I mean? You have a lot of people doing these podcasts about women and men. Half of them aren't even capable or qualified to do it, but they're doing it because it's such a popular thing right now to be able to give your opinion and have a million people like your opinion. You get what I'm saying? So I think these conversations are so much needed because they come from a spiritual standpoint, where, the Most High is in everything that we're doing. And a lot of the comments that I saw earlier definitely was about, even a strong woman, her most important relationship is with the Creator. But for me, I feel like that's any woman. or that's anybody, whether you feel weak or strong. Your most important relationship at any point in your life journey is with the Creator. But I think what is so important too, Abba, is for a woman, especially a woman who's been through a lot, when there is a man who is there to humble her, but it's in the way of humbleness that he does. If it's respectful, if it's honorable, because the thing with a hurt woman, if that man is coming to her in the same manner that another man hurt her, then she's not going to see the humbleness in him and the love and the respect and the admiration and the integrity that he has. So, and the same goes for a woman, dealing with a man that may have been hurt or damaged. Go back in there now. And so I believe that that's where, this conversation for me, like what I saw today, took place. And that's what I pray, came across the most, is how do we help each other heal? How do we grow from this moment and continue to become better servants of the Creator, which will indeed make us better servants to one another. But yeah, did you want me to show some comments? Because
Yes, if you don't mind.
you want me to go all the way back up, or?
Yes, go up. Get it from the beginning where you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Things that's going to be profitable for the family to see.
Okay. Sister Valletta, she no, that's not the beginning. I'm sorry. One sec. Okay, yeah. Sister Valletta, she said, Shabbat Shalom. Strong woman has a close relationship with the Creator first and obeys that higher voice in every situation.
But look how she says every situation. You don't pick and choose when you're going to obey the Creator and
Right.
do what is right. You have to do that in every situation. She's 1,000% correct with that.
Yeah. Sister Aisha, I think she was referring to a comment when she said yes, because a weak woman would stay in an abusive relationship.
Now let's stop there for a second. When I saw that, it crossed my mind. I don't think that it's a weak woman that would stay in an abusive relationship. Let's talk about that just for a second. What really determines an abusive relationship? It's the individual and not necessarily abuse. Some women might think that it's abuse for their husband not to put the toilet seat down. Seriously. Some people get picked off, teed off, and start a big fight, big ruckus because of something simple. He could do everything else, but he don't put the toilet seat down. So that's a problem for you. You start an argument, y'all get into a fight, now y'all divorce. And it all started because he didn't put the toilet seat down. So yes, because a weak woman would stay in an abusive relationship, I think that depends on how long she stays in that relationship. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of times, if you're in what you call an abusive relationship, the first thing, before you put the blame on somebody else, you got to put it on yourself. And this takes time in what I'm about to say. You have to examine. Now, I'm not talking about nothing where the man is beating on your head, knocking your head in. You run from that. That's not what I'm talking about. But anything short of that, you have to take the time to make sure that you're not the problem, as opposed to that man being a problem. And in that process, sometimes you got to step back. And again, it takes time to analyze all this and work on this. You got to take the time to step back and see what the real issues are that's taking place in your life, in your relationship. And like my sister Chasey said earlier, see where you might be at fault, because a lot of women don't want to do this, but this is what they need to do. And so does a lot of men. All of us in these relationships need to do this. Sit back and see where it could be that we are at fault in these damaged relationships, or what we call abusive relationships. See what it is that we could have did differently that might have given us a different result. And begin to work in that area of your life to better yourself, to prevent those type of things from happening. You know what I mean? But sis, I understand sometimes dude is just off his rockers. He want to knock you upside your head. For you make the soup wrong, and he bash you upside your head, stomping you on the floor. You run from that relationship as soon as you can. You get a bill of divorce later because that's life threatening and that's not a situation that anyone should be in. No one, none of y'all, no woman, no man should be getting physically abused by the opposite sex in a marriage or in a relationship that y'all have. If you're in that type of situation, run immediately. Drop your phone on the floor and run and get away from it. That's how serious that type of abuse is. But anything short of that, you got to really try to work this thing out. Try to figure out what is the real blame in this situation. You know, you got to really try to figure out if this is me. Am I the cause of this? Is it possible that it's the way that I spoke to him? The way that I conducted myself when he said shalom? Is it anything about what I did to cause this to be? And you got to be honest with yourself. Don't let, if the answer come to you right away and say, no, you didn't do nothing, tell that demon to shut up. And meditate and think on the situation for some time before you say, no, I didn't do anything. Because you have to be honest with yourself and weigh all possible answers, all possible conclusions, all possible methods before you just say, nah, he crazy. It just may be that he has the issue, but it's more profitable if we sit back and examine our own behavior and the part we played in possibly causing him to want you to be in the house at a certain time, causing him to want you to be dressed a certain way. And those things aren't abuse. Those things are care. That's how a man elevates his woman. He should. And if you got a problem with because he tells you how to dress, he tells you what time to be in the house, he tells you the type of foods you should eat. If you got a problem with that, then you don't really want a husband that's going to care for you. Because anybody you care, you want them to dress appropriately, you want them to conduct themselves a certain way, and you want them to eat certain foods if you care about them. If you don't care about them, let them do whatever they do. And a lot of people like that because they call that freedom, but that's not freedom. So in that abusive relationship, sis, it takes a strong woman to remain in an abusive relationship so that she can examine herself to see if it's really abuse. So I agree, but I disagree. I disagree, but I agree. It's all about what you understand as an abusive situation. Go ahead, Emma. Take the rest of them, please. Thank you, Sister Aisha.
Sorry. Aim Kitar says, strong women are confident in who they are and their life's purpose. She is protective of herself, her responsibilities, her home, and family.
Go ahead, Aim. Strong woman is confident because they walk in their integrity. She ain't got to worry about no foolishness happening because she knows how she conducts herself. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Aim.
Sister Netuya says, healing is what we need because there is no balance and harmony in righteousness.
You're absolutely right, sis. There is no balance and wait a minute. Healing is what we need because there is no balance in harmony in righteousness. I don't understand. There is balance in harmony in righteousness. So I don't know what she's speaking. Maybe she's a typo. Sister Toya, if you're still there, could you explain that portion to us, please? Go ahead, Emma. Maybe she'll get back to us.
Aim says, strong women are aware of their weaknesses and uses her strengths to compensate for her weakness so that life can go on.
Emma is the truth. Aim, you the truth. May the Most High be praised. Go ahead, Aim.
And then Sister Wayada says, experience in many areas of life that build faith in the Creator to evolve and be her best.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. We got the sisters, the ladies in the house dropping jewels.
Sister Netia says her relationship with the Creator, asking the Creator to show her all her weaknesses and all the Creator to help, and asking the Creator to help her not for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
There you go. Absolutely. I love the part where she said you got to go to the Most High and ask the Most High to show you your weaknesses. See, that's the accountability part. The part where you're weak, where you fail, and how to be strong in this situation. That's a beautiful thing. Read on.
Sister Netia says, understanding what the Creator wants from her so she can understand how to choose a husband, especially if she don't have a father around. If she has a father who loves her and cares for her, her father would teach her balance and harmony from a functional family.
Absolutely. Yes, he will. If she has a father, that's his job, his responsibility.
Sister Netia also says, men are traumatized. Women are as well, so healing in the Creator and actually gaining a relationship with the Creator is important. Prove a friend before deciding marriage. Save yourself a headache.
Prove a friend before marriage. That's a beautiful thing.
Just wait a minute.
Okay.
Eyes.
Sister Aisha said it's easy. It's so easy for men to compartmentalize. And then Aim says men who want. Oh well, we read that part.
Who's that talking?
My nephew, he's talking to Free. Seek the Creator because the Creator will provide.
Absolutely.
Abba Madataya says he should also be. Oh, we read that. Sorry. He says, Abba Madataya says compassion goes a long way in building relationships.
Absolutely.
Sister Madataya says treat people how you want to be treated. It's simple. I think we were just talking about, women being treated when I was saying all that stuff about the women. And then Sister Netuya says he needs to heal, she needs to heal, we need to heal and cling to the Creator. Let the Creator lead us to our oneness.
Absolutely, man. Most High be praised.
And then Abba Madatai says, Cain Prince, most males won't listen, sadly. People see from where they're set. There are still men left to show them if they'll listen and learn. As you said, age doesn't equal wisdom.
Age doesn't equal wisdom. May the Most High be praised.
And Azanti says that's real. A lot of males today are learning to become the men they haven't seen, which also takes such strength.
And that's right. For them to become men they haven't seen, they have to get in touch with themselves. But they also have to talk to men who are men, indeed, that they would like to imitate and be like. Read on.
Sister Shavanya says, I got in late, but I absorbed a lot from here. And the way I think, it's getting clearer. And then she said exactly and improve. Then Abba Madataya says, Toda for bringing this topic forth, Prince. Much love always. Shalom.
Shalom.
Benazante says, Toda. Oh, I'm sorry. Benazante says, hold on. I don't know if it's skipped. He says, everything starts in the childhood. The real issue is that we have not seen women being righteous wives. We have not seen men being righteous husbands. We repeat what we see.
Absolutely true.
Netuya says, weak women run to man, strong women seek the Creator.
Weak women run to man. Oh, let's examine that for a minute. Go back to that for a minute. Weak women run to man. Strong women seek the Almighty. I don't know how true that is. Because if she's weak, she's supposed to seek a man. Okay, maybe that's what she's saying. That instead of women learning themselves and learning how to serve the Creator, they're looking to jump back into another relationship. Maybe that's what she's saying. Okay, then I'll relinquish. I renege on what I was about to say. I think that's what she might be saying. I think in a nutshell, what she's saying is, when you're tested and your time comes, don't run to try to get into a relationship with a man. Go seek the Almighty and improve yourself from within. That way, you'll be ready for a man when he appears. I think that's what she's saying. All right, Total Rabah. Ima, you ready?
Yes.
Water.
She said, I'm talking about the people not moving in righteousness to get balance and harmony.
Absolutely. I understood that. I saw it when she wrote it.
Okay. Dana's auntie says it will be very hard for a woman to be soft and vulnerable and trust a man when she didn't have a father or see her
Babe,
mother.
babe.
Oh,
They're going to have to go in the bedroom or something. They making too much noise.
trust a man when she didn't have her father or see her
Could you
mother.
go back to what he said a minute ago?
Yes. It will be very hard for a woman to be soft and vulnerable and trust a man when she didn't have her father or see her mother being or living in that essence. Likewise for the men.
Very good. And that's a very good analogy. It's a truthful analogy.
Sister Shivani says, beautiful lesson, Miss Paka. She said, I love how y'all consider people online like we were there.
Yes.
And
I
Sister,
know what it's like not to have a voice.
then Sister Opal says, wonderful lesson. I agree with you earlier, sis.
Shabbat shalom, Sister Zanta. Shabbat shalom. May the Most High be with you. Ima? That's it?
That's it.
All righty. There you got it, family. Sister Chaya, is it anything, Chasey, is it anything else you would like to say before we close out? You had so much to contribute today, and I'm so grateful and thankful. In the beginning, you was a little like, I don't know what to talk about, Prince, but you came through, sis. You dropped some jewels, and we're so thankful. Thankful for your presence and thankful that the Most High had you to put it in your spirit to come and be with us today and help us. May the Most High be praised. So is there anything else you would like to say, sis, that we might have missed?
I want one more thing I wanted to discuss. Okay,
Yes.
so when it comes to men, what would you consider as they behaving in feminine energy?
But listen, you can't play that piano right now, man. Get off the piano. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. What would I classify as a man behaving in feminine energy?
Yes, because
Yeah,
I know a lot of women, a lot of these men are raised by their mothers.
there you go.
And I have seen, it's like I didn't see it before, but now that I'm like, I'm really finding myself looking elsewhere. I'm definitely, you know, disassociating myself from certain crowds, different things. And now that I'm walking this journey, I'm able to see things a lot more clearer. I'm seeing the effects of a lot of men that are, you know, that are, being raised by women, and it shows. So I'm like, like, what do you classify as a man? I'm not sure how you were raised, if you had those
I'll tell
positive
you.
male mentors in your life. What makes a man, what is a lot of, feminine ways, and what do you classify? Because me as a woman, I can say it, but the thing is, I think the real evaluation comes from another man judging another man. Because
Mm.
I'm not a man, so I can't say what a man is supposed to do.
What is a man that judges, that moves in feminine energy? Example number one. In my mind, this is the highest one of them all. A man who argues with a female. No man should ever argue with his woman. Never. No man should even argue with a female, period. It is what it is. Either do it, don't do it. It's a wrap. It's not even a conversation. A man that want to stand there and go toe to toe with a woman is a fool, first of all. Not only is he moving in his feminine energy, but he's a fool because you'll never win. The only way you're going to win that argument is if you punch her upside her head. And if you punch her upside her head, it's time for you to go. You follow me? And you're losing her for good. That should be the way it goes. So, yes, sis, if he punch you upside your head, you got to go for good. If a man ever puts his hands on his woman, it's time for him to replace that woman. She needs to go. Just that simple. So the feminine aspect of a man, to me, the most important one is a man that wants to go toe-to-toe and argue with a woman. Something that should never happen. That's feminine energy. A man that want to go tick for tat with a woman. That's feminine energy. You did this, so I did this. Or you did that, so I did that. I only did that because you did that. See, that's how I did. No, that's feminine energy. A man who allows a woman to get him to the point where he loses control and hauls off and knocks upside her head, that's a man in his feminine energy. A man is always supposed to be disciplined. A man is always supposed to be in control of his actions. This reminds me, I'm going to tell you a little story. I had a man one day, a male, I don't know what he was, man or man, I don't know how he handled his business. I know he owed me some money. And it's been on my mind the last couple of days, but I'm going to tell you about how a man is supposed to be in control of his spirit. I'm always prepared for warfare. Always. This is just who I am. I could be walking to the store to get a loaf of bread. I don't eat bread too much, often, not much. But if I did, I could be going to the store to get a loaf of bread, and I never go alone, almost anywhere I go. I'm always prepared for warfare. That's just who I am. And that's another reason why the Creator caused that union between her and I to take place, because we got that type of mind frame. I got mine from the streets. She got hers from her family. I got mine from the street. She got hers from the family. But that mind frame is there. So one day this guy is getting evicted out of the house, out of one of the apartments. And I was sent there to go and make sure he didn't steal nothing on his way out the door. So I'm down at the house and I'm on the porch, and this guy wanted to test me. He gets up in my face. He says, "Say something else, and I'm going to knock you the F out. Say something else. Say something else." And I just stood there right like it. I ain't say nothing else either. I ain't said not one more word. And I stood there just like this. Now, I did not say anything because I was afraid. I'm never afraid. The only thing I fear is the Almighty. And my fear for him is not like what people think fear is. Boo-hoo. My fear for the Almighty is afraid to let him down. I thought about this here situation. It's funny that we brought this up, but I've been thinking about that all week. We're talking about men losing control. So as I explained, I'm never alone. He had two guys with him and two other guys, and he gets up in my face. "Say something else. I'm going to knock you the F out. Say something else." And I'm just sitting there. I ain't said nothing else. Looked him in his face, and I backed away from the situation and let him go ahead and conduct his business and do what he was doing. Now, this week, I've been thinking about that. A lot of people will look at that and say, "Oh, you was a chump. You was a coward." A man in control of himself, he knows when to respond and when not to respond. Especially a man that has the ability to take lives. And that's what it is. It's just that simple. You have to be the strongest of the strongest. You have to be disciplined in every way. And that's just how we move. It's always like that. I'm always in my military mind, in my life prevention from taking someone's life prevention mode. Always. It's just the way I am, because it's so simple to do. But now, had that happened 5 years ago and him and his two friends was dead, the police don't care how it happened. The police only want somebody to pay for their deaths. Therefore, the police would have you in jail, No matter how good your case is, unless you got it on camera, they'll have you in jail. Your whole life has changed because your ego has gotten away because somebody got in your face and said something. And that's why so many males smack their women, because they lose control. So I brought it full circle just to show you that a man is always in control of himself. And when a man meets a woman that makes him lose control of himself, it's time she got to go. You got to go. And I'm telling you, you got to get that out of your life right away. A man in his feminine energy will constantly lose control of himself. He will argue with you. He will fight with you. He will have the lack of discipline. He will lie. Why is a man in his feminine energy a liar? Let me tell you this. In order for a person to lie to you, they have to fear you, because they don't want to tell you something. They're afraid of what you're going to do. So they try to compensate and tell you what they think you want to hear, even if it's a lie. That's a weak man. That's a man in his feminine energy. A real man is going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not, and just have to deal with the consequences. That's what real men do. But weak men don't do that. Weak men that's moving in feminine energy, they're going to be liars, constantly lying to you. You can't trust nothing they say. That's a weak man. So, sis, that's just a few examples of what a weak man is. Just a few examples. And none of those things have anything to do with finances. They have everything to do with the character and the integrity that he walks in. Does that help at all, sis?
Actually, your first answer was what I was looking for. Because I was saying, there's a man who goes back and forth with women. I found that a little feminine, but some people try to say on the contrary, that, oh, they just want to state their point. They just want to be heard too. But I was like, I don't know. So it was one of those. I didn't want to be, just judgmental about it and just be like, oh, okay. But I always thought about men who argue with women. I mean, stone cold argue with women. I always saw it as feminine energy, but I just wanted to confirm that. So you did answer my question with the first answer. When you said that, that was a shutdown for me. So
Yeah, real men don't take the time to argue with a woman.
yeah.
Why? What's the use? What's the benefit? What's the profit in it? It's not going to happen. What's the purpose?
So one question. So what should they do when, say, for instance, they have are they having a disagreement? What is the correct way for a man to, like, help
Men,
the situation? Because a lot of men, they'll just walk away, but that doesn't resolve anything. Some
yeah, but
people will do,
sometimes he got to
something.
walk away to avoid
Yeah,
getting into a fight, because you don't know how to
right.
control yourself. So it takes a man to walk away from that situation. You keep asking him the same thing over and over. He done already told you. You keep asking the same thing over and over. The only thing he can do is walk away. Quick, pew, bang, he gone. And you sitting there talking to yourself.
What
What? See, she's dumbfounded.
what
What?
about for those who just don't want to hear?
Well, I mean, then don't talk. If you don't want to hear it, don't talk. If your husband
Right.
says we ain't gonna talk about it, then we don't talk about it. But I want to get to the first part of the question that you just asked just a second ago. You said something about when you two are talking. What did you say? When you two are talking and he don't say something, or he just walks off. What did you say? How did you say it? Do you recall?
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, for I'm just giving different scenarios, just different things, different different things what men can do in situations to help de-escalate the situation. But however, it can be interpreted as that woman is not being heard, or he's just ignoring her, or different things like that. So I'm asking you, what is the best way for a man to resolve that situation? without going back and forth like a woman.
Say what you're going to say and leave it alone. Just that simple. That's the best way to resolve it. See, a man is going to be a few words. A man is not going to be long winded with his woman. A man is going to have very few words to say. That's the end of the rap, the conversation situation. And a real man, if he's wrong and his woman says something to him out of her mouth that's correct, he won't argue with her. He won't even stand there and contest it. He'll walk away, leave it alone, but he's thinking about it. He's meditating on it. And he's realizing that what she said was right. He may never come back to her and apologize, but she will see that his behavior has changed in that situation. That's a real man. If you got a man that's going toe to toe, arguing with you and putting you in your place so he thinks, he's not doing so. He's causing you to lose disrespect because now you pull him down to your level, and that makes y'all equal in strength and might. And it should never be that way. He just weakened the foundation that he had by arguing with you. You will have no respect for him. You will eventually leave him, break up with him, and run from him. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? A man will be of very few words. Very few words. He will say what he has to say, and that's the matter. And then when y'all are holding conversations, because y'all do hold conversations when there's a difference, you have to be able to say, he say, you say, he say, you say, he say, is a conclusion. That's the wrap. But there will be no argument when those conversations are taking place. It will be a discussion. He will be saying what he approves of, what he doesn't approve of, what he needs, what he don't need. You will be saying how to do it, how would I get this, and how would I make it happen? Will you give me what I need to make it happen? And then he'll be saying what he needs to do to give you what you need so that you can do what you need to do. Conversation over. Just that simple. So that's what we got to get accustomed to. That's what we got to get accustomed to. If a man wants to argue with you, then he's in his feminine. Don't even, you ain't got a man. You got a male. Because men don't do that arguing stuff. And if a man has to, oh gosh, I keep repeating myself over and over and over and over, but I have to because somebody else might have just tuned in. If a man gets to the point where he got to haul off and smack you, after he finished smacking you and you get up off that floor, after you go wash your face and get all the blood out your mouth, ask him to give you a bill of divorce, please. And put the compassion on you. Say, please, sir, could you give me a bill of divorce because I failed you. I failed you in this marriage. Please, I take all the blame just so he gives you your bill and run from that monster because he's going to harm you in the future. He might not have taken your life now, but he may take your life the next time that he put his hands on you. So just humbly as you can, take all the blame on you. No matter what happened, even if he was wrong, take all the blame and just let him give you what you need so you can exit his life. And don't ever look back. Ever, 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 ever look back. Okay? So that's just a little bit. Because arguments, when people get into arguments, that's a man that will pop you in your mouth because he's feminine. He don't have no control. He don't have no discipline. And he will haul off and smack the poop out of you. So try not to argue with a man ever. A male, a man, anyone. Try not to argue with them ever. Because if you do, and y'all going back and forth, that's a sign that that guy that you're talking to should be in your life. Men don't do that. Men have too many other things that we're doing than to have to argue with a female. All right? All right. Any other questions, sis? Or have I answered the question you asked?
I'll come with a notebook next week.
Next week, we doing this again, huh? All right. No problem. We can do it again. All right. All right, family in the audience, are there any other questions? I'll be talking about dirty naps. I've been talking about giving people dirty naps. I wonder how you give somebody a clean nap. Ooh, boy. Don't mess with Ava. He gonna give you a dirty nap. All right, family. So the time now is what? 6:59. We done made it to the 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
4 hours in, 3 hours in. Wonderful day, wonderful day. What do you all get out of this lesson today? Did you guys think we should do another lesson like this next week? How do y'all feel about that? Are y'all up and ready for another run? Are y'all
I
ready
think we
for
need
another
some
run?
more men. I think we need some more men influences or men to speak on this because we women are we're saying all of our issues, but sometimes we want to hear what you guys got to say too. So because we wouldn't know what to correct if we don't hear your point of view of what you think about certain situations. So yes, I feel like it's pretty one-sided for right now. So if we could get some men, I'm not sure who you have all a part of your community, but we would love to hear your voices. So, well,
So,
I would.
so are you saying that I wasn't enough for all these women in a room today?
Hey, everybody has an opinion. I want to hear from the
No.
other male
Wait a
opinion.
minute.
What
Are you-
what he feels.
We got about
You,
18, 19 women in the room today. You said I couldn't handle all 19 of y'all by myself? Me and Alba?
you,
Me, Alba and Azante?
I mean, I want to hear more from Abba
No,
because
I
I love
understand.
that little statement that he made. So I want to
I
know
understand.
a little bit more of, maybe he could give us little experiences or whatever he been through, things that he overcame, help us understand, what we're doing, if we're doing it correctly, if we're wrong, if different things. But it will be great to hear it because we're hearing each other, we're hearing the issues on the women's. I want to hear from the men's side so we can know how to come together and make things better for both sides.
I always thought I could handle more than one woman. Oh, man. I have to bethink myself. Maybe I'm not qualified. Hey, Alba, they're asking that next week you can come in on the line and tune in and be one of the speakers up here. Would you be able to do that next week, Alba? Next Shabbat at 4 o'clock? Would you be able to do that, Alba? Would you be open to that? Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to. I would love for him to come and be a part of it. Okay, it's going to take him a second for him to get the message because it's a little delay. Once we speak, it's a little delay for them to get the message. Okay, he said Kane, he'll be honored. So he'll be here next week also. So there you go, sis. You got two capable, fully able men that's going to come in and speak next week. So all y'all sisters on the sideline, bring your questions. Bring your questions, write them down, come prepared, and we're going to deal with these issues. All right? We're going to uplift this great nation. 'Cause that's
Who is? Can I ask who is Matthias Yashrael? Is that another male?
yes, that's the man we call Abba.
Okay, that's Abba. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
He earned that title right there from day one.
Okay.
Yes. And that's what we call him, Abba. So he'll
And
create a will.
Azante,
Azante is one of the
Azante,
veins at the temple of the community.
he's invited.
Well, look at you inviting people. What's up with you?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Yeah, you keep on here. Keep on. Then your mute button work, don't it? Inviting all these people up. I'll let Azante know that his presence has been requested. He'll be flabbergasted. He would love to come in and say some things. I didn't even know that you could see the audience side on the side there. Oh man, she getting it in, ain't she? No, sis, you ain't got to mute yourself for real. You could go ahead and talk. Whatever's in your spirit, you go ahead and do it. But we're going to invite them to men next week, creator willing, and we're going to need at least two more sisters to come up and speak their part, if the Most High allows it. Look at Azante. He said, thank you. He's there. He likes the fact that you requested his presence. You hear him, sis?
You're welcome.
She said, why do they call him Abba? One thing is because he's the oldest man that's a part of our community. Not that he's the oldest male, but he's the oldest man. He's a man of integrity. He's a man of respect. He's a man that's about safety and security and about his family's well-beings. So we call him Abba because those are the rules and duties of a father. And we call him Abba of our community. That's his title. May the Most High be praised. And if you ever meet him, sis, you're going to say the same thing. You'll say, that man is a man. Look at that man. He's a man. And that's how we move. And believe me, if I come out of my mouth and give somebody a title, they're going to earn it. And they're going to earn it. And they're that type of person. And he definitely earned it. Definitely. From day one, he earned it. So may the Most High be praised. And I'm grateful and thankful that he allows us the opportunity to call him Abba. I'm thankful for that. Because a lot of guys, you know, they're a little wishy-washy, but not him. Great dude. Great dude. All right. Are there any other questions or comments before we close this out? All right. Well, may the Most High be praised. Iman, you want to give us a prayer? Are you able to do that?
Okay.
All righty. Toda Rabbah.
Oh, Heavenly Father,
Please stand up.
Creator, Master of the universe,
Creator.
one who possesses all things and knows all things. We humble ourselves and we come before you asking your permission to approach unto your throne. Toda Rabbah Most High for allowing us to come before you. Toda for food, clothing, and shelter. Toda for this Shabbat day. Toda for this week. The good and the bad, O Creator. Toda for all the things that we've learned this week, O Most High, from one another and from those who we consider our brothers and sisters. Most High, we ask that you be with all of our family, all the elders in our family. Please be with all those who are in the sick beds, in the prison houses, and who are unsheltered. Most High, we ask that you be with Yeshua in the four corners of the earth. We thank you, Creator, for all things and everything. I thank you, Most High, for my little 2-year-old niece here who is repeating everything I say to you. Toda Most High for all things. Toda Abi Toda Rabbah, Selah.
I say.
All righty. May the Most High be praised. Toda Rabbah, family. Creator willing, we see you all next week.
Toda Rabbah.
Shalom, shalom, and thank you for your time and for being with us on this Shabbat day. Toda Rabbah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom lakim.
Just look.